even though they say it's organic because they're not using pesticides, there may be some organic stuff out there that you really don't want in your food supply.
Yeah, Todd, I'm curious to know what your thoughts on why people should cut out that last 5% or even that last 2%.
I think because you won't believe what it does for you until you do it. Because I didn't, and I hear this from everybody, and we hear it in SBG all the time too, just like the coffee, and stuff like that. You won't really know what it does for you and what benefit it has until you do it. For me, it was keeping me addicted, and so it kept me addicted to diet soda. It kept me addicted to carb cravings. I think that Jordan Peterson said it the best, that carnivore is really a diet-based elimination diet where you can get it down to the bare minimums of some, of ruminant animal salt and water, which is basically the lion diet, until you can see what you can add in one at a time. Like Dr. Phil says, it's an N=1. So you can add things back, but you can get completely free. So for me, I was not free until I even cut out kale. I mean, the last thing I had to cut out was kale. And because I was eating taco salads, but I did not lose the carb cravings until I cut that out. And, and then even had to go a little bit harder with, some carbohydrates in the dairy. But once I got it down to 0, everything changed. I'm completely free from all compulsive food disorders, eating disorders. It's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to add too, people with autoimmune diseases are probably not going to be as successful with ketogenic diets as they will be with carnivore diets. So you also have to weigh your own personal use case of what you're actually trying to treat. And metabolic and autoimmune diseases, I agree totally with what Todd and Chad said, that go down to carnivore for a while if you want to reintroduce things, but get the healing first and then see where you go. And I got my 95-year-old dad to totally heal an autoimmune disease called PMR, or polymyalgia rheumatica, going on a carnivore diet for 30 days. And when he introduced onion in his diet, all his inflammation came back. So we were very quick to eliminate and show where elimination diet identified that things like onion and garlic were really what was causing his inflammation. And at age 95, he's off prednisone for the first time in 25 years.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. Yeah. So you never know what's going to happen until you try it, right? So if you're curious enough, why not try it and go 100% carnivore? I do see a lot of people who are animal-based living their best life as well. So it doesn't mean that you have to. Just try it. Next question. Let's keep going. Lucy, I've stalled on my weight loss. I'm down over 30 pounds, but I was hoping for at least 10 to 15 pounds more. What am I doing wrong? Actually, Raymond and I just posted a video like a couple days ago addressing this so very popular topic of weight stalls, not losing more than one wished. And we were tackling the common mistake of undereating. So you guys can definitely check out that video. We basically just said, sometimes you don't even know that you're undereating. So intentionally eating 3 meals a day, or just intentionally putting it in your schedule that I'm going to eat now and now and now every day for a period of time could really help you break that stall. And I know Dr. Phil here has broken a stall by doing that. You want to talk about it?
For me, I had to prime, and I was under eating. So I was 90 days in the carnivore installed, and I went into steak and butter gang specifically at 90 days to prime, eat 3 meals a day till I was comfortably stuffed. And it's so counterintuitive. It's not the thing that you think, because our brains are wired to think if you're not losing weight, you got to eat less. And the irony of it all is you actually have to eat more. And I know it's hard to believe, but it's the reality of our lives. Our hormonal systems in our body control our weight, and it's not a thermogenic equation that you can just less in means more fat burn, because that's not what happens. There's too much complexity to the human body, and you got to fuel it and with fatty meats, and the body will take care of itself.
Also, what are you doing physically too? Because there's going to be a lot going on with your circadian rhythm. Are you getting in the sunlight enough? Like vitamin D and sunlight has a huge with the rest of.
Is Chad cutting out or is it me?
Yeah, no, it's Chad's cutting out.
Chad froze,
Okay.
so we'll wait
Oh,
for him
okay.
to come back.
Well, Chad's coming back. We'll throw this up there. We got a couple of supers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, perfect. Chad, I think you're moving again, so let's test your sound.
I'm sorry about that.
Go on. We can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Sorry about that. So, yeah, I'm on Starlink right now, and it's like still like getting used to everything in my new house. So, it's kind of going in and out. But also, what are you doing physically, right, for that weight loss? Those stalls. Are you getting out in the sun enough? Your circadian rhythm has a big deal to do with your hormones and your balances and things like that. And I notice a lot of people, just by changing up their lifestyle in order to get their circadian rhythm back on track, has gotten the stress level down. And therefore, when that stress level goes down, their body is in the state to start that weight loss and go to a proper body composition.
I love that. Yeah, and I'll chime in here. So, look, Raymond knows all about priming, don't you? And Dr. Phil mentioned that he personally did priming to break the stall or to reverse that under eating habit. I see some chat box messages saying, oh, not everyone is under eating though. That's absolutely true. Not everyone is necessarily under eating, but how would you know if you don't flirt with the boundaries first? So Raymond, what are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, and flirting with the boundaries to see what your body is capable of. That's the only way you can realize whether you're actually eating enough, is try to find that out. Now, I want to reiterate what Chad said, because that's important. We don't know how much stress is actually involved in us holding on to the weight. Us stressing out about, oh my God, I need to lose this 10, 15 pounds, could actually very well be the reason it is still holding on to weight. There is something about making the body feel safe. What does that mean, making the body feel safe? That means get out of the stress mode. Get out of that, there's a sympathetic, is that parasympathetic and sympathetic mode?
Parasympathetic nervous system.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the body heals. It heals in that certain parasympathetic mode. And if you know that, then get out of that stress mode. Don't worry about the weight anymore. Eat enough and take away as much stress as possible. Do what Chad said about the circadian rhythm, and this will eventually take care of itself.
I love it. I love it. Okay, let's do the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. You get to cut the line. Let's do your question. Abe Binder says, my body odor wasn't much before, seems to have been almost totally eliminated. Wow. I thought it was going to say it got worse. Is that normal? That happened to me. Okay, raise show of hands. Who did that happen to as well here?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All of us.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Yeah.
It's not that much fun when you're trying to torture your kids, though, because it's like I love getting up from the gym and or jujitsu and just rubbing it on them, and they'll be like, oh, and that doesn't happen anymore. So.
Are you the type of dad to toot in front of your kids just to make them go?
Of course. That kind of
You're the type of dad that uses the window locks on your kids, aren't you, in the car?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, but carnivore makes that part not fun anymore. So
that is there. So there is a downside.
There is a downside. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so fascinating that we all raised our hands though, because I thought it was me cutting out the spices, like, maybe it's like those last spices that I used to eat. And now I'm so pure carnivore. I don't even eat salt or pepper. But even with carnivores who do still enjoy their sauces and spices and just eat mostly meat, that still happens too. So I think that's super fascinating. and it is normal. So hopefully that those answers were helpful to you, Abinter. Thank you.
Sure, it is
I
one more
really,
thing.
I really like the health
Yeah.
benefits of not putting that aluminum containing antiperspirant in your
And
body.
deodorant, yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
so antiperspirants, deodorants, and not have to use those. It saves money, but it's
Right.
probably good for your health.
Our skin is so much more absorbent than we realize. Getting as many chemicals off of it is so vital.
Yep.
For sure. We have another super chat too.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Metalhead Hippie. Thanks for having these discussions. You're welcome. We love it. Carnivore for about a year, down 60 pounds. I feel great. No longer consider type 2 diabetic. Round of applause to that. None of my numbers scare me anymore. Wow. What a wonderful update.
Great.
I don't see any questions. So if you did want to ask a question, we're happy to answer and help. Just put it in the chat. But that's awesome.
And very encouraging
yeah.
for others that are type 2 diabetics. Thank you for that.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
We have a big super chat.
Wow.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Wow.
Good job,
Thanks,
Todd.
Greg.
Wow, Todd.
It's not me,
Oh,
but thank you so much.
wow. Whose channel is it on? Lindy's?
I think it's on. I don't know whose it's on. To be honest with you, somebody's. I think it's on Chad's. But no, happy to have you here.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, congratulations. But thanks
Thank
so
you,
much.
For having
Greg.
me here. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the super
That's
chat.
so generous. Do you have a question? Because we can definitely answer your question. Thank you so much. That's so generous. And welcome. His first time here. Big welcome to you.
I'm looking to see if he has a question. I don't see one.
Okay.
We'll keep
Well-
our eyes open.
Yeah, we will. And feel free to post it repeatedly if we're missing it. But let's keep going with these questions. From Alexis next. I'm in my 4th month of carnivore, still hoping to feel more energized and strong. Did you notice more improvements when you got to 6 months and then to a year and then longer? Such a fabulous question, because this is what I'm finding so intriguing about living carnivore. Every month, or let's say just every 6-month mark, I'm a different Bella. Like I am an improved, more optimal version of myself. So it's very exciting for newbie carnivores to hear it from long-term carnivores that even after 4 years, 5 years, Raymond's 8 years, there are still things that are healing or changing or improving. Right, Raymond?
That's right. And I want to let you know it's not kind of like a linear going up, right?
Right.
So be aware you're going to have what I like to call a glimpse of the unicorn. Every now and then you have that right moment where everything lines up and you're like, what did I do? What did I do? I want to get that feeling again. And then you're trying your hardest, getting it right, and don't feel it for a long time. And then all of a sudden it shows up again. And then it keeps doing that it is going up. So paying attention is critical. One of the things that we encourage in our gang is to keep track of your non-scale victories, just because of that. And then you'll notice what comes in and out and how much gains you're getting along the way. So maybe your energy is not quite that energized, but maybe it's changed. A lot of us try to make the example of energy. What we think energy is like being on coffee. And carnivore energy is not like that. It's just a steady, calm energy. And I love that. So if we're trying to mistake energy to feel like you're on coffee, I think that's a false hope.
Well, can I chime in a little bit? What are you doing every single day, and what is that energy level? Because what your body's going to try to do is going to try to give you the minimum amount of energy to accomplish what it wants to do every day. So if you start then making your body a machine that requires a ton of energy, so you're like running every morning or working out hard every day, then on the days that you don't work out, you're going to feel all that energy because it's primed to have all that energy. So like eat a ton of food and move your body a whole lot that requires a lot of energy, because everyone thinks that they're just going to sit one day and then one day all of a sudden their energy levels are going to go up, and that might be the case, but your body's bare minimum. It's a body of adaptation, so it has to adapt to the environment that you put it in. So if the environment requires a lot of energy, then you're going to have more energy. It's going to fill up, it's going to occupy the space that you give it. So if you don't give it any space to occupy, it's not going to increase in volume.
Love that.
I'm age 67, and I just finished 5 days of cleanup after Hurricane Helene. And I noticed, the first day I was very sore going out and picking up 5 hours of debris in the yard. And I did that for 5 days straight. And since being carnivore, my recovery, you know how there's little small muscles when you're doing a lot of stooping and bending, really hurt. And I did 5 days in a row, and it was amazing, the recovery. I was able to get out there the second day and do everything I needed to do and worked another 4 hours. And by the third day, I had no pain and finished my 5 days feeling great, which two years ago, I would have felt that for probably 2-3 weeks. So I like the fast recovery.
Great. Lindy, I'd love to hear from you on this. Did your energy plateau improve during your carnivore journey?
At the start, it was very, very slow because I had a huge healing, to do, a lot of healing. But now I'm wanting to move and do a lot more. So definitely got a lot more energy now. And I think the more that I do move and exercise, the more I'm wanting to. It's just, but at the start, I was very sedentary, and movement and things just wasn't an option. So the energy levels were very, very relaxed. So yeah, definitely improves as I go on.
Go ahead, Todd. Oh no, then I was going to put
sorry.
this up. Okay,
I was.
so
Oh.
no,
I
I'm
just- sorry,
trying
I
to
didn't
catch
see it.
up. Yeah, so Todd, the cowboy
Todd.
hat guy, is Todd, and so I noticed when we put up questions, our banners and our names don't show up. So let's try something new. We'll put up the question for maybe like 30 seconds, and then I'll put down the question.
Okay.
And then our names will show up again. So this could help new viewers get to know us, especially Lindy, Todd, Chad, Raymond, Phil. So let's keep doing that from now on. Okay, let's keep going. I did see the super chat, his question, or at least his message that he wanted to put up from Metalhead Hippie. Here it is. He just says, just letting others know, my question, just let others know carnivore works, or it has for me, and to give it a try. That's very encouraging.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And Gregory
Yeah.
Prem, who did the $50 super chat, says, Todd spoke with me for over an hour a few weeks ago, been trying to get to a group chat to learn. So we're really glad you're here
okay.
tonight.
Awesome.
Perfect
Yeah,
timing.
Gregory, welcome.
Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I thought you looked familiar, but I'm bad with names.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely remember talking to you. You're in Vegas. Yep.
Oh, I'm in
Very
Vegas
nice
right
talking
now. Very cool.
You're in Vegas.
Nice.
Yeah, Bella might be moving to Vegas. Might be your neighbor, Gregory.
Yeah.
He also has a house, I think, in Kalispell. He said. In
He has a
Montana.
what?
Yeah. So
Oh,
I
really?
think he has a summer house in Kalispell, Montana. Actually, yeah.
Nice.
Very
So,
cool.
yeah, he's both of our neighbors, actually.
I know, right? Well, welcome to the
Yeah.
community, Gregory. Thank you so much for
Welcome.
sharing.
Oh,
And also,
we just-
yeah.
sorry, we just,
I
got
just
a
wanted to
super-
share. Perfect. I wanted to ask anyone watching the live and also anyone watching the playback, if you're in Las Vegas, please comment that you are there, because if there are enough Vegas carnivores, I would love to host a Las Vegas carnivore meetup. So
Give
do
me-
share if you are.
Give me a
Yeah.
reason to drive down there.
Fabulous. Awesome. David, thank you for your super chat. Okay, so David says deodorant, clean stone, only potassium alum. Okay. Is he sharing like
I hope that doesn't mean aluminum.
okay.
Yeah, we don't like aluminum. I don't know about those, the clean stone.
David, is this what you use? Is this what you recommend, or is this what you're not using anymore? We'd love more details.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's be. Can I use lemon in my water? I hate plain water. Raymond?
You can, but what I would do is slice the lemon, that little, and then just kind of do it infused water. You'll have the flavor, and remember, the more diluted you can do with certain things like that, the better. I'm not eventually you might not even want it, and you might get used to the water taste. So in the initial, it's okay. Enjoy it.
Perfect. Yeah. How about you, Chad? What are your thoughts?
I wouldn't be, I would do everything to not flirt with going back to something that has carbs. And then also
Mhm.
additionally, when you're doing this thing, it's an elimination. So
Mhm.
how you guys feel about brushing your teeth and using toothpaste and stuff, the requirement for that is way less. But if you do something like lemon in your water, you start to feel that kind of wither away at your throat and your teeth. I don't never experienced that. So
Yeah, that's why I was saying to infuse it, because
Yeah.
if you actually squeeze it, it becomes kind of lemonade. But if you actually just cut that slice and just leave it in there and kind of let it sit for a little bit, you're just getting just enough where it's not going to be as bothersome, depending on your sensitivity,
right.
like Chad said.
But I love
Uh,
water now. I absolutely love water. Like I could drink
Yeah.
water. I love the taste of it. But I think I had to go a certain while without sugary drinks and food in order to go back to like my genetic roots of loving the taste of pure water. So maybe it's just like I remember being in that stage where I wanted any excuse just to not drink plain water, but now I love water. So maybe it just takes time.
Yeah.
Todd, didn't you use lemon to get off something else?
Absolutely. Yeah, I used volcanic organic lemon juice to get off of diet sodas. And I actually don't think there's anything wrong with it. I didn't have any issues with it. It didn't cause carb cravings. Exactly the opposite, actually. It was definitely the best bridge. In fact, we heard that in SBG tonight that people were using it also. I used volcanic organic lemon juice with electrolytes and sparkling water to make a lemon juice.
It's a heck of a lot better
Yes.
than the stupid sodas.
Yep. For
Yes.
sure.
Well, and okay, so sparkling water. Okay, if you're tired and you hate plain water, try out just plain sparkling water because that's like an elevated version of plain water. You have some fizz in your mouth. It's more exciting. So instead of or before reaching for that lemon in your water, first reach for the sparkling water.
Love it.
Perfect. Let us know, Debbie, if that works. This is Renee next. I get super sleepy after I eat and even moderate or small portions, and I'm not losing weight. Okay, so let's see. She gets super sleepy after eating. That's honestly normal to me,
Great.
even moderate or small portions, and she's not losing weight. So, my biggest question when I read something like this, which is very common, are you new to carnivore? Far along are you? Because let's say she's 2-3 weeks in. Renee, you can chime in if you're still here in the chat. Let's say she's 2-3 weeks in. This to me is just a sign that she's healing. Instead of seeing these as issues and that she's doing something wrong, this could be a sign that the body just needs rest. So let's not nitpick on all of these little things and let's give it some time. Oops, I hear a lot of typing right now. Hold on. Let's give carnivore a chance first. I would say 30 days at least before you start worrying about these symptoms. Yeah. But anyways, oh, Raymond, I hear you talking. Let me help you unmute. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I noticed that you're saying moderate or small portions. Really, please, please, please eat until you're full or more if you can. This is very, very important. And as far as a lot of people are asking me what's the best exercise you can do. The best exercise you can do, especially when healing, is a nap. Take a chance and allow yourself to have those naps. That's going to help you a lot better and get you progress to go a lot further.
Exactly. This is from Keith. I am on a mild statin. Will fat help with the side effects or should I take QCO10? Well, Dr. Phil, if you don't mind. Oops, you're muted. Hold on. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to unmute. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Anyway, first off, I'm going to question myostatin because statins have risk involved. It doesn't matter what dose you're on. They have about a 40% risk of causing insulin resistance or myositis, which is an inflammation of your muscle, And the best statin is the one you don't need to take. But there are clear-cut reasons that people should be on statins, especially if you have documented atherosclerotic heart disease, if you have a cardiomyopathy and need to do some cardiac remodeling. Short-term statins has been shown to be helpful for that, and after the first year after a heart attack. So those are reasons to be on a statin. CoQ10 is something that you need to take when you eat a vegetarian diet that you don't need to take when you're a carnivore. So if you like spending extra money on supplements, just keep eating those vegetables, but meat will provide all the CoQ10 that you need. And I would figure out a strategy to see if you can get your HDL cholesterol up, your triglycerides down by eating more fatty meats.
Perfect answer. Let's keep going. I have a physically demanding job and I'm having difficulty keeping up my strength on carnivore. I cannot really eat at work, so I'm struggling. What can I do to maintain my strength? Chad? Hold on,
Most
Chad.
of us don't have that. Oh.
Can you say that again? You're unmuted now.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, I thank you so much for having a physically demanding job. A lot of us don't. So you're lucky actually that you're forced to do this. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while or you get your energy levels back to where they were before when you were putting glucose directly into that muscle. So it's going to take a little bit. The other thing that you could do, I talk about this a lot, is try bringing with you bone. So that time where you're like in the middle of the day and you're feeling a little bit drained, have some bone broth. It's going to have a lot of nutrients in there that it's liquid form. It's going to be it's the fastest absorption method for your body to take in nutrients. So that might help out a lot for those long days when you don't have it. Also go check out Carnivore Bar, because Carnivore Bar has those options where you can just have meat, fat, and salt. And the thing is, you need energy. So when it comes to the 3 macronutrients, you have protein, carbs, and fat. Fat and carbs are your energy sources. So if you're feeling low energy, try upping the fat a little bit in your diet. See if that ratio of fat to protein needs to be balanced out a little bit. And
Love it. Yeah, and I see in the chat somebody mentioned, oh, did you know that there's also carnivore protein powders? So I'm sure most of us here, we don't take carnivore protein powders, but it actually is a great option. And I see a lot of active or bodybuilding carnivores take it. Dr. Baker likes it. Dr. Chafee likes it. The brand is called Equip Prime Protein. I've never tried it, but it seems like it's 100% carnivore ingredients. Very, very clean. So maybe check that out.
Yeah. I want to add that I have found when I have a long day and I know I'm not going to be able to eat for 8 hours, I love slicing some pork belly and putting it in an air fryer and cooking it and eating it first thing in the morning. And it will hold me a good 8 to 10 hours with nothing else to eat because it has a much higher fat content than many other meats. And it's just outright delicious if you can eat pork. It's a good option. It doesn't have all the nitrites of bacon, and it holds better for me with eggs, but you can certainly make some eggs with your pork belly, but and that is even better than either one alone. So finding a good fatty meat to eat before you go into work is a good idea. And if you can sneak in some sliced ribeye and just snack on it when you need a little boost midday, that helps too.
Yeah, just having that batch cook hour where you cook up a lot of carnivore meals or carnivore snacks like boiled eggs, like ribeyes. If you can just cook a bunch of meats or carnivore ingredients, you can have that food ready to go. Because we see time and time again, the issue is the time from, oh, I'm feeling low energy, I'm feeling hungry, I'm having cravings, to actually eating is too long. So they cave into whatever is convenient. They cave into the junk. They cave into sugar. They cave into that bar of chocolate in the back of their drawer, right? So we want to make sure we stay prepared. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, Todd, did you want to chime in? Oh, hold on. You're muted. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
ahead.
We got a super chat. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Hard
Clean
stone.
stone potassium alum, not aluminum. Okay. It is a hard stone. When needed, a little water on the stone and repeat other arm. You can Google it. Very
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's awesome.
On that point, if you've been carnivore for a little while, I would say try without, just to see, just to be curious. I literally went without. I know that's kind of probably sound disgusting, but I went without showering for about a year and a half. Bath, shower, none of that. No soap, no nothing underneath. I was shocked. No smell. I'm sorry to those of you guys, but really nobody knows.
But it's not gross. I don't use body soap anymore. I don't use soap at all. The only thing that I use in the shower is shampoo, just because I'm not ready for the no poo challenge just yet. I still like really just squeaky clean scalp. But I don't use soap on the body. And I also don't use soap down there, which a lot of women, when I talk about on Instagram and TikTok, the women go crazy. They're like, how the heck do you keep your parts down there clean and smelling fresh? They just naturally do, believe it or not. Yeah. When you're on the right.
and you know, I was talking about my 95-year-old dad. He says, you know, when he was a kid, no one knew antiperspirants or deodorants. They didn't do it, and they
Yeah.
wore the same clothes day after day after day. The only thing they would change out is the collar of the shirts. And he said, you know, you didn't have body odor back then, and I think it's a direct result of the standard American diet. That
Oh, for sure. It's
Yes.
got to be detoxing, right?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I made a couple videos on it, but I was like, it's so crazy that we think that like eating something and then having your body push it out of your pores and it smells rancid, and then going to Taco Bell and eating and having to run home and have diarrhea an hour later, that's normal. And then they give us a hard time because we only poop twice a week. Like that's weird. And we don't smell like a dumpster anymore. And it's like, no, this is actually how we're designed. That's how we know we're on the proper human diet, is because our body's not pushing out rancid, decaying poison that we're putting in our body anymore, you know?
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
how you said that, Todd. I mean, let's think about it. If we were hunters back then, which we were, animals have great smell.
Oh,
There would be really some crappy hunters.
Right.
They could smell us miles away.
They wouldn't run because they're scared of us. They run because they can't stand our stench.
Exactly.
It was a defense mechanism.
So it makes sense. Evolutionary, we were made to not smell.
For sure.
Yeah. I love this. So Deborah wants us to know that she loves these chats and that she thinks these are so necessary. I think so too. Like I personally just love conversing about this lifestyle with fellow carnivores. There's nothing more relatable. So I'm glad you guys enjoy it too. Question for everyone here. Are you guys using body soap right now? Yes or no? Do you need it? I'd love to know. Kathleen, 16 months carnivore, BBBE only, cannot lose below the rib cage. Okay, so she can't lose weight below the rib cage. Body composition has changed everywhere else. Diagnosed insulin resistant. So if it's below the rib cage, is this like hips down, right?
no, it's abdomen.
Oh, so waist included then. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So this is probably someone that has a lot of visceral fat, has a kind of a round body. So first things I think about is I'd like to know if she has pain because she could have lipedema, and the other thing is a lot of visceral fat. So Lindy ought to talk a little bit about lipedema because she's our resident expert.
Oh no, not an expert at all. But yeah, I do have lymphedema and lipedema, and it's just basically a fat disorder. Yeah, Dr. Phil's probably more scientific with all of that. But my lower half, my lower body, is out of proportion to the top. My hips and my thighs are very, very large, and it's just that disordered fat. You do get a bit of a cuff as well with the lipedema. and lymphedema around the ankles. And diet has been fantastic for helping with the pain. With lipedema, you do get a lot of pain. It's just like a aching, especially at night for me. When I'm lying in bed, I can feel just a really throbbing pain in my thighs. I can't sleep. But since being carnivore, that pain is completely gone. I still, you can diet and do everything. The diet does not affect the amount of lipedema that you've got. It's always going to be there. I think you have to do surgery, maybe is it a liposuction or something to actually remove that lipedema fat from your body. But it does get rid of the pain, and just definitely carnivore has helped a lot. So, yeah. I stay away from cheese. Dairy actually inflames that. So I get a lot more pain and also inflammation with the lymphedema. So I stay away from all dairy because of that. So rebounding and the vibration plate really help as well. Just moving that fluid around the lymphatic system, and just overall, healthy benefits with those as well.
And Lindy, talk about your rebounding.
Oh, rebounding. Just bought myself a handlebar for that, but I do a gentle healing bounce. So my feet don't actually leave the mat. So 5 minutes is equivalent to 20 minutes of walking. It's all NASA sciences, documents on that. But just a gentle rebound, and that stimulates the lymphatics. It just gets your body circulating, and it helps remove all the lymphatic fluid from your limbs. So definitely, I love it.
And let me just give Lindy a plug here. She does live streams on her own channel. So does Todd. And they have built a fantastic community. During those live streams, they are so generous with their experience with carnivore, but also their ideas, their advice. And they, like, the community in their live streams when they do it is wonderful too. It's just a great group of loving people. So when are your live streams, Lindy and Todd?
Oh, you go, Todd.
Okay. Yeah, it's Sunday. Sundays at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And then we also, that's when me and Lindy do one together. It's called 700 Plus and Counting Down. We both started at over 700 pounds. And Michael's also on there a lot of times with us. He's a great guy. And then, Lindy, you do another live stream too once a week, don't you?
Yeah, I do with Lynn at Midlife Carnivore. We do a fitness challenge. So we're currently doing sort of an exercise. We follow another channel, and they do all sort of mobility. Definitely things for people that have mobility issues. She's also struggling as well. So we're just taking it slow and trying to do movement in a safe way without exerting ourselves too much and causing harm. So it's definitely a good place to come as well.
That's awesome. And then me and Chad do one on Thursdays as well at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Iron Sharpens Iron. It's kind of focusing on carnivore, helping PTSD, depression, anxiety, basically men's health. So.
Yes, so important. So I see the super chat, Todd. I'll get to it. I just wanted to feature these nice, wonderful comments from our viewers here. Elmore, Lindy is very cool, very relaxing to listen to. I agree. I've always said that Lindy's voice is so suitable for ASMR. If you don't know what ASMR is, just search it on YouTube and you'll know immediately. Lindy, you do have a great ASMR voice. And then this one. Areno says, first time being here. This is so cool. Welcome to our live stream, and to everyone who's new here. We hope to do them every week. So as long as you guys want it, we will keep doing it. Okay. Dennis, thank you for your super chat. I'll have a couple squares of unsweetened 100% cocoa chocolate now and then. Is this bad? What are your thoughts? So 100% cocoa chocolate, is it sweetened? Did he say? Oh, unsweetened. Correct. Okay. Well, that's good. As long as it's not sweetened with the really, honestly dangerous stevia and those fake sweeteners, it's not as safe as you think. It's not as harmless as you think. I think there's also oxalates in cacao and in chocolate. So do you want to be messing with oxalates? That's up to you. Those are my thoughts. How about you, Raymond?
Well, I want to stay on this. I understand that you're trying to get joy out of that. That's great. But I want to say, since you're doing it every now and then, I want to say perhaps challenge yourself maybe in like a month and seeing, hey, can I do it without? And then you can actually really tell what it's doing to you. It's only by removing it. And of course, we can't justify anything. There's some people out there that'll justify, just sodas or cacao in your case, or even coffee. So to be honest, that's a plant food, and it does have effects. But what we want to do is find out what it does, and the only way to do that is to remove it for a certain period of time, and then you will find out.
Mm. For me,
Wendy?
I'm not a moderator. I have to abstain. I just have that one piece of chocolate, and I will want the whole block. The whole block will be gone within seconds. I cannot moderate chocolate. Same with vegetables and all that kind of stuff. That's why I have to abstain from anything and stay strict carnivore. So
Yeah. Chad, what are your thoughts on chocolate?
Not a huge fan, but I'm also someone who's a little bit extreme when it comes to discipline. To be honest, it's a pretty cool discipline to have a little bit of chocolate and that's it, and be able to be like, okay, that was my chocolate, and move away. But I have a weird, different type of discipline where I say, if I'm not going to eat a plant again for a certain amount of time, then I'm not going to. If I'm not going to have a carb or anything sweet, or I'm going to stick to a certain thing for a certain amount of time, I pretty much have no level of like excuses to break that. But I'm pretty extreme when it comes to that, and I have to be that way because of I just know my personality. So I would stay away from it if it were me. But if you get like some joy from it every once in a while, that's awesome. But nothing tastes as good as your health. So I like, for me, it's not even risking it, is the where I stand.
I love those thoughts. Todd, Dr. Phil, did you guys want to come in on the chocolate?
I think that on the chocolate, I think, wow, what's that saying? Don't let perfect be the enemy of better, or, good, or whatever. I think that's the thing. But
Good,
for me, for me, I didn't get fully free until I did get rid of all the little things, that it's just amazing. All the little things I didn't think that counted. I thought they were too insignificant to make a difference. Those were the things that were keeping me from being truly free from sugar addiction. So I think that everybody should try to be as clean as possible for 90 days, see what it does for you, and then add it back in. Because if you can't go without squares of chocolate for 90 days, then it's probably not good for you, is what I think.
Exactly.
And-
Well said.
For me, I was someone that ate probably a bar of 86% chocolate every day before I became carnivore. And it was one of the things I gave up when I became carnivore. And I purposely give myself a treat about every 90 days. But I've only done it 3 times in 14 months by making Dr. Kiltz's ice cream. And I'll put a quarter cup of the 100% unsweetened cacao chocolate chips and melt them, because I temper my eggs in the cream and heat it up on the stove to 160, and then add the chocolate and the eggs in to temper the eggs, because I don't want the raw egg, and make my Kiltz's ice cream with that, with a plain of heavy whipping cream, a quarter cup of the unsweetened chocolate chips, 100%, and then 4 eggs. And I cook that and then put it in my KitchenAid ice cream maker. And I just like the consistency of soft serve ice cream. I'll have a serving of it and then throw away whatever's left, because it's terrible later on that day. So,
Good.
but I only
insight.
do that. I do that about every 90 days, because I
Yeah.
want to make sure that every so often I have something to look forward to, and that consistency of soft serve ice cream is one of those comfort things that it
Yeah.
doesn't throw me into addiction mode like some people get, and it just is a nice change from meat, chicken, and fish.
Of course, of course. So I did want to highlight this one. Thank you, Love to Travel, for chiming in. Oh, sorry, not this one. Oops, now I lost it. Oh, okay, here, user. Oxalates and many heavy metals, especially cadmium, 90% of brands for chocolate were found to have these issues. Rare to find safe chocolate brands. So it's better to just avoid until you find one that tests these types of results. Yep, definitely food for thought there.
Did you see that super chat there?
Do you mind putting it up? Because
Yeah,
I'm
right there.
really behind. Okay. Thank you, Gunther, for the super chat. 4 months of strict lion diet, 100% grass fed, 2-to-1 fat to protein ratio in grams, 2 meals a day in an 8-hour window. Major fatigue 2 hours after the first meal. Less fatigue if I do 3 meals a day. Why have I never had any energy gains with this diet? Okay. Thank you for the details, by the way. This really helps. 4-month strict lion diet, 2-to-1 fat to protein.
I'm gonna say healing. I didn't, because it's only 4 months, right?
Right.
That's just my guess. I felt when I was doing that 6 months of priming with Raymond, I didn't feel like I had a ton of energy. I felt like I was sleeping a lot and healing a lot in that 6 months.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I want to point out that he has less fatigue when he does 3 med. So I'm wondering if he's
Under
under
eating.
eating when he does 2 med.
Yeah.
It's a strict lion too, so there's no question under eating. It's easy to do on lion.
Again,
We talk about it all the time.
try bone broth. Try bone broth. I think that's going to help with the energy between those meals. But yeah, eat as much as you can. The other thing too is Anthony Chafee talks about this a lot, especially if you had problem with your insulin levels spiking. When you eat enough protein within a meal, you're going to go into gluconeogenesis, and you're going to have that response of having those carbs in the bars, glucose in the bloodstream. Your body could still be reacting to that, and it might still take some time of healing in order to get there. I know a lot of people who had to go strict lion for 6 months before they got back to the energy levels that they needed. So don't keep going through it, keep experimenting, don't give up on it. If you are still going through fatigue, that means you are still being inflamed, that means you are still healing. So if anything, you're getting the right signals. You're getting the appropriate responses to your diet, and so listen to what that is telling. Courage, keep going through it.
That's great, Chad. I do have another comment about the 2-to-1 fat ratio. Try to play it with 1-to-1. Sometimes the body gets behind on too much fats that it just doesn't know what to do, and it really gets you into the more fatigue mode. And I've had clients that had that issue, and I would lessen them on the fats, and they started feeling better. So there's a lot of room to play with.
Yeah. Gunther, if you're still in the live and you're willing to share more details, are you healing a lot of things? Because usually people who choose to go strict lion diet, they intentionally do so because they have a lot of autoimmune issues that they want to heal, or maybe something else that's serious. Let us know if you have a lot of healing to do, because if you're deeply healing, you will naturally feel a dip in energy because your body's busy doing something else, healing. So maybe not something to worry about right now, even with you being 4 months in, but we'll wait for your details. Let us know. In the meantime, let's keep going. So this is from Gliscore. Question about carbs in milk. When I look at all the percentage and whole milk, it has no sugar, but it still has carbs. Should this be off limits for getting rid of the carb cravings? I am new to carnivore. Raymond, what are your thoughts first?
See, the problem with milk is really the fact that we pasteurize, homogenize it. By the time it comes out, it's pretty much sugar water. So raw milk is what I prefer if you're going to play with that milk. But I would really stay away from milk, maybe a little creamer in your coffee, but kind of stay away from it, especially if it's store-bought.
Yeah. Todd, what are your thoughts on milk?
I don't use any milk. I'd use some dairy if I'm trying to open up my appetite is all. But milk just makes my appetite too crazy and I put on too much inflammation when I have milk.
Glad you noticed. Yeah.
Do you drink milk, Chad?
No, I'm
No.
pretty much strict lion. And
Mm.
I think that I did not see the full effects of carnivore until I got rid of milk. And I promise you, giving up milk was like giving up cocaine. It was the
Oh, yeah.
hardest thing I've ever been through. But
Mm.
that showed me how dependent I was on carbs and dairy. So getting rid of milk really is where I saw most of my healing.
Right.
Great.
So here's another angle, because I've been incorporating more and more dairy in my carnivore diet. And it's definitely because I am moving more, specifically going to the gym more. So I'm finding to support my goals with wanting to build muscle, adding in raw dairy like raw cheese and raw kefir is actually very helpful. So this just goes to show, where are you in your carnivore journey and what are your goals? If milk is supporting your goals and getting you closer to that end goal, I feel like milk is fine. Obviously, raw milk is better than pasteurized milk. So you can find raw milk by going to realmilk.com. That's a fantastic website. I'll put it in the chat. Realmilk.com is where you can find raw dairy near you. Always try your best to go for raw dairy as opposed to pasteurized. Okay, let's keep going. Also, friends, if you guys need to go sleep, I see you guys are getting tired and sleepy. Feel free to. Feel free to. I'm happy to just do this live alone too. You don't feel the need to stay up just because I want to keep going.
We got another 2 hours to kill. No, I'm just reading a lot of chats and it's making my eyes hurt. That's all.
Yeah.
Aw.
Easy for you. Raymond and I are in Eastern time zone. So
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
7 o'clock.
They're in Eastern. I'm in Pacific, so it's only 7 where I am at. So
Exactly.
Raymond, I do remember you saying you can't stay for too long.
Yeah, I still got a little time. My wife hasn't come back home yet, so I'll hang out.
That's the reason.
The sheriff ain't in town yet.
Yeah. Once she comes in, you guys will probably see me go dark. So
Please do. Family first. Okay. This is Jen. I am 37 and I have hypertrophic cardiomyopathy and defibrillator. Will carnivore help me? Dr. Phil, would you like to take this?
oh my goodness, who knows? So just to explain what this condition is, it has to do with a person that has an outflow issue in their heart because the structure of where their left ventricle is sitting, and they have hypertrophy of the septum of the heart. And so they actually intermittently get obstruction of the outflow of the heart. And honestly, I don't know if there's any data on this. The fact that you have a defibrillator at 37 indicates either you have a reduced ejection fraction or you've actually had a syncopal event, which means you've passed out as a result of the arrhythmia from hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So I honestly don't have a clue because we're dealing with a structural abnormality. And I would be really interested to hear how you do over 2 to 3 years. We just heard somebody tonight who had a left ventricular assist device from congestive heart failure that they're removing, and the doctors have never seen it before. They're able to take it out, which I've never heard of, but someone that's had a very, very severe end stage congestive heart failure situation with basically a left ventricle not doing anything. And to have that removed means they've healed that left ventricle. But hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is more of a muscular imbalance. And you have less control because it's not considered an inflammatory condition. So I would always be hopeful. Carnivores have some real miracles of things that we don't think should happen. So I wouldn't discourage you from being a carnivore. I would be excited. I would want to be the one to find that out for myself. So I really welcome you on the journey and I hope we hear back from you 2 years from now that you are healed of that, because that would be a great news, because medicine doesn't have any good solutions for you.
I really hope Jen heard that answer from you, Dr. Phil. So let us know what your thoughts are if you have any follow-ups, Jen, because Dr. Phil has such great experience, and I'm glad that you asked when he's here. Let us know. And I did catch this question. Let me just put it up. Kelly, thank you for all this wonderful info. Is it too late to join this month's challenge? Thank you. It is not. So our challenges are open every day of the month, because we know that people don't necessarily need the most help at the top of every single month. So you can join mid-month, second, third, fourth week, and you can just start getting help. We actually just had our Friday night NSV community calls, which is where all of the members show up and share a victory of any sort, and we cheer each other on. It's personally my favorite meeting of the curriculum in Steak and Butter Gang, because it is so motivating. Hearing real life stories, relating to struggles, and people overcoming them is powerful. So I'll just put the link for anyone interested. Join us anytime if you want support. Let's keep going. Brandon. I'm 6 months carnivore and started because I'm pre-diabetic. My glucose is still running around 110 to 125 daily. What can I do to lower my blood sugar? I have not had sugar for 8 months. Todd.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at something. Oh, pre-diabetic. Sorry.
While Todd's thinking about that, let me
Yeah,
jump in here
please.
and then
Go
give
ahead.
Todd a chance to recover. So most pre-diabetic is what we call metabolic syndrome, which is what I had. And we diagnosed metabolic syndrome with 5 criteria. You have to have 3 of them to be pre-diabetic. So those 5 things are: number 1, obesity, so a BMI greater than 30. Number 2 is a triglyceride level greater than 150, elevated blood pressure, a HDL cholesterol based on your gender that would be under 35 for a male, and high blood pressure. So I'd be interested to know if you have, how many of those metabolic markers you have. I'd be interested to know, have you lost any weight since you started carnivore? Is your blood sugar normal? Have you had those other factors measured? What are you doing? 110 to 125 is not terrible. I would add some activity, daily walking, make sure you do that. And I would probably up the fat because you may be contributing some gluconeogenesis by not getting enough fat in the diet. And you may be under eating. And both of those will, if you're metabolically unwell, your protein's going to contribute more to gluconeogenesis and raise that fasting sugar. But those would be the things I recommend. Grounding is another strategy that you can do, getting up in the morning, watching the sunrise, and getting your circadian rhythm straightened out. And then finally, anything you can do to reduce cortisol levels by synchronizing your circadian rhythms, the sunlight, the grounding, and a little bit of exercise every morning. Stress reduction if you need it. Those will all be strategies that I would do. But stay carnivore. It's the best thing for reversing metabolic syndrome.
For sure. And I don't really have anything to add to that, because I didn't have a problem with high blood sugar. I mean, when I first started, I did, but I have a problem with low blood sugar now. It reversed so much. I'm no longer anywhere in that ballpark. My CGM goes off all the time and tells me that my glucose level's too low. So
But you're not symptomatic, are you, Todd?
Not at all. No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Also, Dr. Phil, isn't there something that maybe, because we say carnivore a lot, but couldn't there be something in the diet that's still triggering that metabolic disorder? So it's like, yeah, you haven't had any carbs or sugar, but maybe something in the dairy or something like the nitrates or something like that are causing. So you like maybe consider a little bit more of an elimination, and then slowly add things back in to see if that's affecting those levels. Could that be the case?
Yeah. Yeah. Dairy is always suspicious. I don't know
Mm.
about the nitrites. I think they're probably over vilified,
Mm,
because I think bacon has so many benefits of the high fat in it, the satiety that people get with it, and that salty, sweet taste you get from bacon is so beneficial to so many people.
Mm.
So it's but definitely the dairy, Chad. I would try that, and I agree. If you're not getting success, you always try eliminating things that could be a factor in yours. Like I said, who would have known my 95-year-old dad was having to be on prednisone every day because he ate onions? It's just,
For sure.
you never know.
Mhm.
You never know.
May I bring up a question here? This lady's asked a few questions. We just haven't been able to get to her yet, but she
Please.
was yeah.
Okay. Lila, can someone please answer my questions on PCOS? Me and my mom are trying very hard, but I always end up getting very brutal periods. I would love to help on that. I personally never had PCOS, Lila, but I really can relate to brutal periods, painful cramps, mood swings, just pain in general, having to pop Tylenol like candy because they were so painful. PCOS, healing PCOS is absolutely possible just by going carnivore. I mean, we've seen hundreds of women now, maybe even thousands,
Coach
heal
Rochelle?
and reverse PCOS. Coach Rochelle herself, she'll probably visit one of these live streams soon. She has herself. And then Dr. Kiltz is definitely the go-to to find more evidence, more explanations, more help on this. His whole thing is, shout out to Dr. Robert Kiltz, we are fativores. We are supposed to be eating so much fat, more fat than you could even believe, especially if you're women. So, Lila, just to help you out here and calm you down, it is possible if you're trying very, very hard. If you're willing to try a little harder with adding more fats, that could make a big difference in the painful period experiences. Okay? Hopefully that'll be a
Okay.
good start for her. Go
Awesome.
ahead.
We have a few super chats.
Yeah, I want to add on the PCOS though
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Phil, go ahead.
Everyone thinks PCOS is an ovarian disease, and it's really a metabolic syndrome,
Mhm.
of which the ovaries are the end organ that's getting inflamed as a result. And the cysts are due to inflammation in the body from metabolic imbalance. In fact, Dr. Kiltz, and the reason we mentioned Dr. Kiltz is he's an infertility expert, and PCOS is one of the most common causes of infertility. And he actually calls PCOS not polycystic ovarian disease. He calls it plant-caused ovarian syndrome, because the plants are really
Mhm.
what's the stuff in the plants and all the inflammation and metabolic dysfunction. But I would say almost everyone with PCOS has some level of insulin resistance. So everything I said about metabolic syndrome, you should take to heart. Get carnivore, go 100%, get yourself clean, do it for 4 to 6 months, see what happens to your menstrual cycle, and you really got to get strict. This is where Chad would say, focus on elimination for 6 months, get yourself healed, and don't compromise, because PCOS causes hair growth on your face, what we call hirsutism. It causes infertility. It causes dysmenorrhea, which is painful periods. It causes obesity, causes discoloration of your skin, skin tags, all this stuff. And you can reverse that in 6 months to a year on a carnivore diet. And it's been pretty consistent. It's one of the easiest things to treat, and one of the most common things that people suffer with for years. So,
Thank you,
Kyla,
Dr. Phil.
yeah, do it.
Okay, before I get to the super chat, though, I just want to, Lila, keep us posted. You're so very welcome. We definitely want to know if it's healing, okay? So come back to our next live and let us know. Ben would like to say, let Lindy speak. So, Lindy, do you want to share anything? Go ahead.
No, about PCOS. I don't know. I haven't had my period for over 12 years. I think I'm still healing, but I did have brutal cycles prior to that. So I'm kind of glad they haven't come back. And I think I'm in menopause now, so they probably won't come back. I'm not worried about it. I feel fine. I'm healthy. So yeah,
Love it.
thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think Ben is your biggest fan. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, you can put the super chat.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Flip Childcare and Learning Center. I am 55. I'm new to carnivore after husband died. Oh, so sorry. I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, hyperthyroid, and high blood pressure. I was healthy prior to that, and I'm trying carnivore to heal and lose weight. Any tips? So trying to heal Graves' disease, hyperthyroid, and high blood pressure. Well,
Yeah.
Dr. Phil, if you don't mind
so-
starting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is probably in my wheelhouse, but this is a person that iodine would be very, very helpful to try. And it's counterintuitive because a lot of people take iodine for hypothyroidism, but hyperthyroidism seems to respond to iodine supplementation. And you don't want to jump in taking large doses right away. You want to start with 1 drop a day and increase it every week by 1 drop. And you need probably about 25 to 50 milligrams a day. And there's calculators on the web where you can find if it's 2% Lugol solution, you can put that in water. And as you go up in number of drops, when that bottle's gone, switch to 5%, which has twice the iodine per drop. And so it makes it easier in the morning because you can use half as many drops. But carnivore very well helps high blood pressure as well. So I would give yourself some time, and all the things I just said about activity, moving the body every day. Those are 2 things. But I would give it, I don't know if you're in the point where they're telling you got to have your thyroid resected, a thyroidectomy. But if you can give a course of iodine for 3 months, you may prevent having your surgical removal of your thyroid. But it just depends on how bad you are. And sometimes the doctors use beta blockers when you first have Graves' disease to reverse some of the symptoms like your rapid heartbeat and the sympathetic overload that you get from Graves' disease. But work with your doctor with it. But I would definitely add iodine if you're not doing it.
I would like to add a comment on this. Obviously not the medical side, but I want everybody to notice this is after her husband died and she was healthy prior to that. I want to say loss is so great that it will affect your health because of the stress being so great on top of it. So I really feel for what you're going through, and I really do feel that the carnivore diet will be the best thing for you. So please keep on going and get as much support as you can. Thank you for that chat.
Yeah, and exactly to what Ray is saying is you have to realize that a stressful state will mess up your digestion, and your messed up digestion can cause a stressful state. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And it's kind of like we see here exactly what Ray is saying. When like you had this sense of security and you had this life partner and that was taken, and it, like I cannot imagine how that would feel, but your body's going to go into a shock of stress. And so it might lead to a litany of symptoms. And though carnivore, I believe, is going to absolutely be the absolute best environment and mechanism for your body to go through that stress. But I think a huge part of it is going to be stressing or healing mentally and spiritually in your own ways and finding your own ways of and pathways of going through that. And so like it sounds kind of like this esoteric type thing, but when it comes to spiritualism, when it comes to grounding, when it comes to circadian rhythm, we need to make sure that we're doing every single thing, mind, body, and soul, that's going to be eliminating and processing stress in a healthy way.
And community. Let's add
And
community.
community,
So,
Community.
yes, and community.
And community. Yeah. So we're rooting for you and all the best. Keep us posted in the next live stream. Ahmed, thank you for the super chat. Let's see his question here. Ahmed says, I started carnivore 4 to 6 months ago. My doctor warned me in the beginning. Now, my last analysis shows insulin C peptide is at 1800. Maximum should be 1400. And C reactive protein high intensity is 25. Maximum should be 3. So I'm guessing his question is, should I be concerned? What are your thoughts, Dr. Phil?
seems like they all come my way. Usually when we do insulin C peptide, it's because you're already taking insulin. So I guess I would want to know if you're, because normally we do insulin levels and we only do C peptide to detect your internal insulin as opposed to external insulin. So there's a couple of things I'd want to know if you're taking exogenous insulin injections. The C-reactive protein, it's called high sensitivity. C-reactive protein of 25 indicates quite a bit of inflammation in your body. So I would make an assumption from your lab values that you're either diabetic or you're in a full-blown metabolic syndrome. And again, I would make sure you're not under eating. Carnivore is ideal for this. I don't know anything that there was a very large study published last year from Great Britain where they took a general practice clinic, a surgery in Great Britain, and they had people with diabetes and metabolic syndrome as long as 20 years. And almost everybody who were new onset of diabetes and metabolic syndrome healed on a ketogenic diet. It was over 90%, and people 10 years out, 50% of them healed. And so that's the efficacy, and that was just on a ketogenic diet. And carnivore is a much more potent anti-metabolic or pro-metabolism way of eating for you. And so I definitely would say you can't do better than carnivore. Stay with your doctor. If you're on insulin, you at some point you may need to reduce the amount of insulin you're taking and work with your doctor on that. And you really want to get that C-reactive protein down. The other thing I would want to know is, has there been any screening of your cardiac status? And I personally, and people that have high C-reactive proteins, like to get a myeloperoxidase level, which is another inflammatory marker, which can indicate higher risk for cardiac disease. And if you've never been screened for cardiac disease, either a CAC, which is a calcium or coronary artery calcium score, or a stress test to see where you're at, those are the things that I kind of think about, because all those things will be helped with carnivore, but you've got to bridge yourself. That high C-reactive protein did not happen overnight, and it's not due to carnivore, but it may take you 6 months to a year or more to heal, and you need to protect your heart during that time.
Bravo. We love you, Dr. Phil. I know that a lot of these more medical questions do go your way, but you are seriously helping so many people. When they listen to this live stream and they do hear it from an MD, it's just different. It really is just different. So thank you, Dr. Phil. Okay, before I get to the next question, Todd, I just wanted to say, oh, you're muted. I just wanted to say goodbye to Raymond. So let's all say goodbye to Raymond.
Well, I want to say
Is your
something
wife
real
home?
quick. Real quick. No, but this is from my son's friend saying that can I have a turn
Hi,
on the
Beluga boy. When can
So-
Connor have a turn on the computer for Fortnite? Oh, are you strict with Connor's rules, like computer game time?
No, not really, but they like to play around this time.
Aw.
So they're kicking me out.
Wow,
My
how
wife's out here. In
How does
10 minutes,
Connor's
so.
friend know that we're on a live stream? Oh, because they're in the
It's
next
on my
room.
channel. No, it's on my channel.
Oh, okay.
So
All
they
right.
saw the live and all that kind of stuff. Anyway,
Well, go
so
be
all
a good dad. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Raymond.
everyone. That was
See
awesome.
you in the next
Thank you.
live
That was
stream.
awesome. Fun. All right.
Love
yes,
you.
next
Thank
live
you
stream.
so
All right, love
much.
you.
See you, Raymond. Have a good night,
Thank
man.
you guys.
Yeah.
Dr.
Thank-
Phil, can I ask you something?
Always.
So Ahmed said that he doesn't take insulin, but I know a lot of people say that they're on carnivore, and you said most people have success on carnivore. Wouldn't we assume that they do the best on carnivore or keto because their carbs are limited? And so a lot of people take in a lot of cheese and raw dairy and things like that to the point that that actually has the negative effect on what you're saying. So that even though they are on carnivore, should we also clarify that is a low carb carnivore, maybe a dairy free carnivore where they see the best results?
Yeah, and when I say carnivore, I'm assuming 0 to 2 grams of carbohydrates a day. And you know, it's pretty hard to be doing anything dairy and keep yourself at 0 to 2 carbs per day. So I think that's a great point to make. Cheese is a good stimulus if you're starting on carnivore and you're priming and you need something to stimulate your appetite. Or in Bella's situation, she's done all this 5 years of healing and she's using cheese to supplement her exercise routine. But when you're trying to cure metabolic syndrome, I was on a very, very strict. I had nothing, 0 carbs for 4 months to totally reverse my metabolic syndrome. And that included no cheese, no dairy, no heavy whipping cream, no artificial sweeteners, because getting myself healed was my prime directive. And when you have a highly sensitive CRP of 25, that's a real risk factor that you need to reverse as quickly as possible. So thanks, Chad, for adding that in, that your life depends on you taking this really serious, and then you can re-add some things in after you get your CRP down. Thanks for bringing that up.
That's awesome. I got to say my favorite part of this live stream is always Phil answering questions.
Why, Todd? Why?
Just Phil's always on the mark. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I learned so
Right.
much.
Exactly.
We got a couple of
Okay.
super chats.
Oh, Gunther. Oh, this is the follow-up from
Follow-up.
Gunther. Okay, he says from the previous question. Now remind me, what was his previous question? The energy, right? Energy problems from Lion Diet. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Wasn't he the
So-
one that was doing 2 mads and 3 mads, and
Correct.
on his-
This is
on his
Gunther.
2 mads he was having low energy?
All right. So Gunther now says, yes, I do have healing to do, low energy, especially after meals since my teens, and I am now late 40s, skinny fat body, enlarged prostate, BPH, foot and toenail fungus, asthma, and attention deficit disorder. These are all things that he wants to heal. That's quite a list, Gunther. So it does honestly make sense to us that you are having a bit of a lull in your energy, because I think that you are still deeply, deeply healing. What are your thoughts, Todd?
I think it sounds like if we could answer this better if we knew if he was priming. That's what I think. Because we need to know if he's eating enough. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Gunther should join the SBG and try priming, because Gunther, I didn't heal. I was under eating and I didn't get my energy until I went through 6.5 months of priming on Raymond's protocol. I wish he was still here for this, but Raymond's priming protocol. And I was, I did do some sleeping and my energy was a little low when I was going through priming, but my energy's through the roof now. And even more so, it gave me a baseline to know what a healed metabolism feels like, a healed metabolic system works like. If there's something valuable, there's 2 things that I've gotten the most valuable that a day to day that helped me. And that was freedom from all these addictions and carnivore. But the other one was knowing what a healthy metabolism feels like.
Also,
Thank you for
can I
saying that.
Can I
Yeah.
also add
Go ahead.
something? A lot of us have too much omega-6 in our body, right? And so if you're going on a Lion diet and maybe, let's say you're getting like, for example, a lower quality meat, it might have a higher omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. And I've been researching lately about people who are doing omega-3 therapies. and omega-3
Mm.
healing and things like this. And so you might want to look into maybe adding like some salmon or maybe some omega-3 supplements. But in my case specifically, and just hear me out on this, but adding some brain to your diet from some grass-fed cows that has a 4 omega-3 to 1 omega-6 ratio. And I have some speculation that our ancestors got their omega-3 requirements from eating a lot of bone marrow and brain and other parts of the body. But anywho, I would check into trying to see if there's an omega-3 to omega-6 kind of inflammatory response that you're dealing with. Because I know when I upped my fats and I went to grass-fed only beef for a while, I saw a lot of healing as well. And when I started eating brain, I also realized that my brain calmed down a whole lot and I wasn't tired after every meal and things like that. So that's kind of like a weird little thing. Maybe Dr. Phil, would you agree, disagree?
Well, I think it's I think I want to clarify that it's the ratio of omega-3
Yes.
to omega-6, not the total number. So if you are getting in, and I think you were saying the same thing, but I just want to be clear. It's not about cutting back on the omega-6 by cutting back on your meat. It's making sure you're getting adequate sources of omega-3 in your diet to balance the omega-6. Because not
Yeah.
everyone can afford, grass-fed, grass-finished beef, and some people, think of Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal Lecter, when they start talking about eating brains. So
I
with
know.
a nice Chianti and some fava beans, right?
So well, this is one of my hacks I talk about on my channel is getting like ground beef, like 80-20 ground beef, and then putting like a little bit of a salmon fillet in there and mixing it all in. It makes it
Yeah.
taste good, but then also you're off balancing the omega-3 to 6 ratio if it's not grass-fed beef.
Yeah, and sardines is probably the cheapest way to
Yeah.
get omega-3. If you're, and I know that some people would say that's not lion diet, but I would say a lion could maybe eat some fish once in a while, but I don't know. But everything that Gunther's telling us about is about inflammation. Enlarged prostate is an inflammatory process. The toenail fungus, his asthma, his airway inflammation. So everything points to he needs to be healing. I'm glad he's on lion diet, and I hope he's strict as heck. And I think
Yeah.
Chad's points are really good. If he needs a little extra boost.
Great points. Gunther, let us know what you think of these answers. And if you do have questions about what Todd was talking about, like what the heck is priming, you can comment it and we'll circle back to you. But hopefully this was all helpful. Okay, let's keep
Absolutely.
going. Yeah. Oh, Susanna, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, over the last 3 years, every time I try to go 100% carnivore, my blood sugar drops into the 50s and I feel dangerously ill. Slowly transitioning does not work because a little carb leads to a binge. Any advice? So again, sounds like under eating.
I would also say, yeah, making sure you're getting enough protein within a short eating time frame to kick you out of ketosis. You want you ketosis all the time. That sounds exactly like somebody who's not getting it kicked out of ketosis. So make sure you're eating enough protein within a short time period that you go into gluconeogenesis and you're getting carbs and you're getting that sugar into the bloodstream.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think definitely it's an under eating issue. And as I was trying to break my metabolic syndrome, I would fast and get down in the 50s, but I was totally asymptomatic. But eating more frequently as your body's adapting. Not everyone can tolerate one meal a day or lots of fasting. I mean, I think Lindy, don't you? How many meals a day do you eat and do you fast?
Mm-hmm.
She's
Hold on,
muted.
Lindy. You're muted right now. If you don't mind repeating that, you're good.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I had lap band surgery 27 years ago, so I struggle to sit down and eat a large meal. So I have to graze throughout the day. So I tend to undereat a lot. And also the meat is very satiating, so I'm not hungry. So I could just eat, half a steak in one day, and that keeps me going. But then, yeah, you do risk the under eating, everything stalls. My blood sugar levels, like Todd, my machine goes off all the time. I did do a trial for 2 weeks, and my machine was constantly low, but I felt fine. So the fact that you are feeling unwell, yeah, definitely. I think you're under eating. Ramp up the protein, and maybe introduce a bit of dairy if you can do that, just to help you through.
Yeah,
But
my
yeah.
mom was hypoglycemic, and when I got her on carnivore, I had to use dairy carbs to keep her blood sugar from crashing until she got more fat adept.
Mhm. Also,
Yeah.
bone broth. Don't hate on the bone broth. Sip bone broth throughout the day. It's a life changer for real.
What
So-
bone broth company kicks back? Do you have?
I have none.
Yeah,
I make
right.
my own. I make my own.
Oh, you make it at home. That's always very healthy. Yeah. For me
Yeah.
though, like every time I hear you talk about the bone broth, I always have this thought. But the space that the bone broth liquid, by the way, takes up in my stomach, I personally would rather fill it up with meat. Like nutrient dense solid meat filled with fat and protein. So that's why it's like every time you talk about the bone broth, I'm just wondering, would I be able to do that? I don't know if I have space in my stomach for more liquid.
So it's for people who are usually having issues in the transition period. Like, for example, I barely use bone broth now, hardly ever.
Mhm.
But when I was going through the transition, I was like that low energy, and I was trying, your body has a very specific way of gaining energy from the food that it eats, and it wants that nutrient. So when you have the liquid form, it's gonna be very attracted to that because it's getting it in the quickest and most absorbent way. So people who are under eating, it oftentimes helps them get those nutrients in because it's a more like attractive way for your body to take in that energy. So for like, especially in its oftentimes like not too bad in protein. So to like, if people who are under eating and they're not getting the gluconeogenesis that they need, slamming down 20 grams of protein from a cup of homemade bone broth is a really quick and easy way to do that and a fast way to do that. So I swear,
Awesome.
like I had to go through carnivore multiple times, like trying, failing. Bone broth was like the key element for me to get me past it and then thrive. And then when I was feeling low energy to kick me through. And then when I had meat aversion, the other thing that I found was adding fish. And so I was like, when I was going complete elimination, I was like, God, I cannot have another bite of red meat. I would mix it with some fish of some sort, and then also I'll be back in the game and I didn't have meat aversion anymore. So those are like were my two hacks to get me from not knowing anything about carnivore and trying it to making it to the other side and thriving.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Let's keep going. Thank you, Holy Ghost, for the super chat. Will small amounts of modified... Oh, what is this?
Sorry, that was just fine. Thank you, Holy Ghost, for the super chat. was-
Oh, I'm not even
Yeah,
registering these names.
That's something you don't hear every day.
Yeah, that's true. So the question is, will small amounts of modified wheat starch and or electrolyte calcium supplements cause kidney stones on keto? Kidney stones on keto, not carnivore, though? Not sure.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Anyone got Google?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know that I've used wheat starch, and I don't know that I definitely haven't had any kidney stones, so I don't know anything about that one.
Well, if we had to use our deductive reasoning, or rather inductive reasoning, we know that calcium, right? Isn't that what you would get? Your kidney stone is from excess calcium being processed in the kidney. So, I mean, I'm not sure.
Well, most stones are calcium oxalate stones, but
Oh, yeah.
modified wheat starch, I'm not even sure why you'd be taking that. So I don't know any reason someone would use modified wheat starch. So that's what's throwing me. The calcium supplements, a lot of people are K2 deficient, and you got to be careful with calcium supplements. They're overused a lot in our society. And a lot of people that have osteopenia or think they're at risk of osteopenia are taking lots of calcium and way too much calcium. And not only can they get stones, they can get calcified arteries, including your coronary arteries. So I don't like anything about this question.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
The Holy Ghost
Well-
has stumped us.
And I feel like I have a good relationship with the Holy Ghost, but
Right.
not with this
gosh.
question.
Yeah.
Not with this
So very
question, because
specific.
I really wouldn't take either. It's interest of whether or not you've had calcium stones, calcium oxalate stones, because I think the oxalates are probably a bigger component than the calcium. But
Oh, he thumbs up. Okay. Hopefully
Yeah,
that was
you're all
helpful.
good.
Yeah. Sorry
Yeah.
if it wasn't helpful.
Well, we can give a
Thanks.
generalized answer, right? Well, if you are completely carnivore, the likelihood of you getting kidney stones is probably like next to zero. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, can we kill the fly with the bazooka? Like, you know what I mean? That's like you said, it's a very specific question, but can we broaden it and say, well, perhaps that may be, but if you were just to go this route, the likelihood of you running into that other weird scenario goes down.
yeah, well, the thing we always have to be realistic, though, is that some people have very large calcified calcium oxalate stones, and they go carnivore, and as they start to dissolve, they can actually go down to your ureter and cause a symptomatic kidney stone that you wouldn't have got because your kidney stones were too big to pass. And so theoretically, it's definitely been shown that reducing inflammation in your body and cutting out oxalates will reduce the size and number of kidney stones and prevent formation of new ones. But it doesn't 100% prevent you from having kidney stones because we don't know if you have some to begin with.
Well, and I guess that's answering the question but
Yeah.
it will not develop new kidney stones, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
It's
let's
back
keep
on
going.
Star
Okay.
Chat, Bella.
Back on the Star Chat. Let's go to Brandon. He's at the top. Brandon says, I am a 6-month carnivore and started because I'm pre-diabetic. Oh, we already did
I think
this.
we've done
We
this
did
one.
this. We did this one.
Yes, we did do this. Let me just make sure we don't repeat any. Carnivore Odyssey. How often do you recommend fasting and for what length of time on carnivore? I like this question. It's such a personal question, but we can all share our thoughts. How often do you recommend fasting and for what length? I personally don't fast more than 1 meal a day. And even these days, because I'm so active, I can't do 1 meal a day anymore because I just simply cannot eat enough to support my body's demands and my muscle building goals, to just stick to OMAD and eat enough food in general. Am I counting calories though? Still not. I don't plan to. I really don't ever want to be tied to a calorie tracker app ever again. So what I'm doing is I'm going by satiation and hunger. When I try the OMADs during me going to the gym and stuff, I feel very hungry the next day. So that's a sign to me that I'm just simply not eating enough. So that's why I'm now doing 2 meals a day. That works for me. That's the extent of fasting that I'm doing. How about you, Lindy?
Yeah, I naturally intermittent fast. It's normally 2 meals a day. Sometimes I'm hungry and I'll have that third meal, and other days it might just be 1 meal. So I just go by how I feel. Todd?
Yeah, I think such an individual question and such a nuanced thing for everybody, but I think it depends on how much healing you have to do. And it's not a great answer, but what I found is that both for priming priming and fasting, I had to figure out what it felt like to have a healed metabolic system and a good metabolism before I knew when I needed to eat. And by learning that, taught me when I was in good enough shape to fast. And then that's how I determine how long I can keep fasting, because when that starts to get hurt and my metabolism starts to drop, then I go back to priming. But I do a lot of pretty aggressive fasting because I have a lot of lymphatic issues that I'm healing. And so I do 7-day fasts, and I try to do rolling 7 days every week until my metabolism slows down every other week. Sorry. So I eat for a week and then fast for a week. So I do rolling 7 days. And I try to do that because of the autophagy for my lymphatic system. But like right now, I haven't done a fast in 4 weeks because my metabolism slowed down about 4 weeks ago, and I had to reprime to get it back up. Now I'm feeling great. My metabolism's back up, and now I'm going to go back to fasting here in a week. So it's kind of an N equals 1 thing.
Super cool. What about you, Chad?
So I used to fast once a month at the end of each month for an extended fast. Now I kind of see how far I could go. But I have drastically changed how I did that. And that's when I was like animal based before I went carnivore. Once I went carnivore, I decided to prime until I wasn't hungry. So like here's the deal. I think that we are completely distant from our food gathering and eating situation in terms of the fact that our ancestors, when they were hunter gatherers, they knew every single process that they were in when achieving their food. They knew when they were at the beginning of their hunt, the middle of their hunt, the end of their hunt. They knew when they got the kill. They knew that it was going to take this much time to get the meat back to the tribe. And they knew when they were cooking it. And a lot of people don't know this, but 20% of your digestive acids start before food enters the body, right? And it's your body's like priming. Yeah. It's anticipating what it is about to come. It starts releasing stomach acid by touching your food, by cooking it, by smelling it. And so your body knows exactly, like it used to pay attention to when it was not getting food and when it was getting food, and would release the appropriate the chemicals and the physiological processes in order to keep you hungry or not hungry during those times. And so that all being said is when you got the kill, there's nothing holding you back from eating a lot. You would, and like Lindy says, it's very satiating. So you would eat and you would get full. It's like you couldn't eat anymore, but there was nothing stopping you. So you would eat as much as you wanted to until the animal was gone. So what I started doing based off like learning more about that research is I will allow myself to eat throughout the day nonstop. And then once I finally hit that moment where I'm like, I'm not hungry anymore, I won't eat again until I'm hungry again. I'll just listen to my body. And so once I become completely satiated, that might take 2, 3 days, 4 days. But all of a sudden, I at this point where I'm like, that was kind of like not a great last meal. And then all of a sudden, I won't eat for 3 days because I won't have a hunger signal hit up for 3, 4. And the last time I did it was 4 days where I just wasn't hungry and decided to eat. Like I was like, okay, 4th day, I'm feeling a little bit low energy. Things aren't making sense. I'm starting to get the brain fog. Broke the fast. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but this is something I've been experimenting with lately. And fasting on carnivore has become extremely easy only because I primed. And now I just eat until I don't feel like eating anymore. And then I don't eat until I feel like eating again. And that's been this beautiful cycle that I've been following. That's not set on a schedule. That's not set on like what stresses I'm going through and things like that. Or rather, it is set on like, rather than a timeline, it's set on what my body is feeling, and I'm kind of listening and answering it. So kind of being more connected that way. So sorry about that answer, that being long-winded, but that's how I do it now.
Don't be sorry. That was fantastic. Loved it. Okay, Sherry wants to know, I'm trying to gain bone and muscle weight while staying in medical ketosis on carnivore for a bone marrow and jaw bone infection. Would you go up in protein or fat? Gaining bone and muscle weight. Man, that's such a nuanced question. Just eat more meat. Like let's just keep it simple. Let's not obsess over these details, especially since you're healing, I would just focus on eating plenty of fatty meat.
Also eat bone marrow.
Why not?
For bone marrow.
Yeah, I would just definitely eat the fatty cuts of meat. Our brain's like 70% fat and 30% protein, and that's what ribeye is. So I took that as an omen that that's the perfect cut. That's what we're supposed to be eating.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Dr. Phil?
The answer to the question is yes. Would you have protein or fat? Yes.
Yes.
Most people don't realize that your bone. Most people think they need more calcium to grow bone, and you need more protein, because if you're not building the protein matrix, you have nothing to lay the calcium down on. And if you don't have enough K2 in your body, and you're not eating eggs and fatty meats, you're not going to utilize the calcium. It's going to go places in your body that's not on your bone. So I would make sure you're eating lots of fatty meat, and I probably would go 2-to-1 ratio of fat to protein when you're in an active infection like that. You need the studies on protein were all based on burn victims, and we recommend in protein that you actually get more protein than even the burn victim calculation is, which is 0.8 milligrams or 0.8 grams of fat per kilo of body weight. And we really recommend you get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, or 2.2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. So
Sherry actually chimed in with some more details. She says, I do. Sorry, not this. There was another message that she was saying her current ratio. Let me just read it because it's in front of me. I am at a 4-to-1 fat to protein ratio right now. Wow. That's like therapeutic healing.
Yeah, but I don't know if she's getting enough protein on that. So I would make sure, because she's going to need extra protein for to make sure she's getting at least 1 gram of protein per body weight. And
there it is.
So it's not only the ratio, it's also making sure you're getting adequate amount of protein.
Would you say for Sherry, eating more meals throughout the day would be helpful to help reach that protein target?
Well, for most women, when you've got an active infection, you probably need somewhere between 45 and 65 grams of protein per meal to get enough protein. But I don't know her size. I don't know her weight. I don't know what her calculation would be. So it just depends. I mean, if she has stomach reduction surgery, there's so many factors that it's hard to make a golden rule for that.
Mm-hmm. Let's keep going. Corey says, I've been keto for over. I've transitioned to carb 2 months ago. Now I'm dealing with tonsil stones. Does this make sense? Tonsil stones. Those are when your tonsils like harden up and they swell up almost as if they're inflamed. Yeah. No.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
This is a great question, and I'd have to research this. I don't have a good answer. When I was in practice and saw concretions, we call them concretions, or they're basically hardened secretions that are like, they literally are stones. But they're small. It's not like river rock. It's more like white sand in your tonsils. There was always a lot of inflammation in your body. And so I wouldn't think carnivore would cause that, but I would be more concerned about things like dairy and oxalates in the diet that you may not have eliminated. I would think tonsil stones would would go away on carnivore after 6 months to a year. So I'm a little shocked by this.
Oh, that's what tonsil stones are? Are they the things that you see
Yeah.
people? Okay.
We've got some people saying what tonsil stones are. Here's another one. Little hard white stones
Yeah.
that form in your tonsil cavities. And this
Yeah.
one says they smell foul. Smell bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they smell like rotten cheese. I've had to
Oh, really?
pluck them out sometimes in the office, with a 18 gauge
Ooh,
needle.
really?
And oh yeah, but I wouldn't expect people who have been straight carnivore to, after 6 months, to ever have another tonsil stone. But
Huh.
if
Well, he's
if
2
I
months
saw
in.
someone, yeah, but he said he was keto before that. So my question is,
Do you
has he
think?
cut out dairy and oxalates?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It could be he's oxalate dumping because now that he's carnivore, he's no longer eating the small amounts of, or maybe large amounts of oxalates that he was eating on keto diet.
Correct.
Hopefully that helps, Corey. Let us know. Let's keep going. Flip. Oh, flip again. What is meat aversion? What is priming? Generally speaking, is going strictly carnivore the fastest way to get into fat adaptation? Let's start with what is meat aversion. Meat aversion is just when you're tired of meat. Like, let's say your go-to meals are beef patties or seared ribeye. And when you think about that for the next meal, you are dreading it. Or when you're eating your ground beef patties, you're starting to get nausea. Your palate feels fatigued. This is just common symptoms of meat aversion. Very, very common when you go carnivore for the first time. Does it go away? Yes, it does. There are plenty of things that you can do to help the meat aversion, like eat more variety, eggs, seafood, cheese, whatever. What is priming? Let's have Todd describe priming.
Man, priming is just, a structured way of eating to make sure that you're filling a nutrient deficit that you've probably been in for a long time. And that will boost your metabolism. It'll start to heal the body. And you got to test yourself because it's kind of funny because we don't even know if we're eating enough. I mean, I definitely didn't, which is funny. It's funny to be 700 pounds and find out that you don't know how to eat enough, right? That's kind of a funny little problem to have. But that's exactly what priming taught me. And it was true, right? So I didn't even know that I wasn't eating enough. I didn't even know how bad my metabolism and my the metabolic disease had me plagued, So priming is basically eating on a structure that Coach Raymond has laid out in SPG. It's actually harder to do, in my opinion. It was harder to do the first 5 weeks of priming for me than it was to do the first 5 weeks of carnivore, to be honest with you, because it's you got to eat like it's your job. But what a payoff, because you give your body everything it needs. Your body feels safe, and then your body heals, and it starts to pump up your metabolism, and then you really do get fat adapt when your metabolism's running correctly, and you have the nutrients you need and healed. It's crazy.
Yeah. Great definition, Todd. So Spirit says, I definitely got meat sweats during priming. This happens. Absolutely happens. Oh my gosh, the meat sweats that I got, I needed New York City dead of winter weather to help me cool down. I was so hot. Child of says, today was my first day priming. Yay! Congrats. We're rooting you on. It's not easy, but this is a very brave and good decision. By the way, friends, I see that Dr. Phil, you're looking a bit sleepy. Go sleep, please. I want you to rest. I don't want you to start your weekend tired, and your wife, right?
I had two questions that were in the chat that I wanted to answer.
Okay.
Our friend Galo wanted to know, have we any of us tried benfotiamine, and which is vitamin B1, which is thiamine supplements. And I just wanted to comment. I really don't. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would just comment that I really don't think you need to be taking B supplements if you're carnivore. B supplements are something that somebody might be taking if they're on a vegetarian diet and are actually deficient. But a lot of people that have neurologic symptoms are told that they need to take more thiamine, and they end up taking tons of thiamine. But if you just eat fatty meats, you don't need to supplement and buy all these supplements, especially these water soluble vitamins, because your body will use less and need less. And the other one, Dr. Nelson, who's a good friend of Carrie on Homestead Hal, wanted to know what my channel was. And Bella, you have the answer to what my channel
I do.
is.
Dr. Phil is an SBG exclusive.
He's only in the cool kids club is basically what that means.
But hey, we now are so honored to get to have him with us on these live streams. So that's really such a huge step forward, because Dr. Phil does like his privacy. He doesn't want to start his own YouTube channel, and he really likes the community, and he wants it to stay that way. So let's support that.
For sure.
Yeah, and my interest is in human physiology. So I'm always love to explain, what you should be looking for and how to address some of the common problems, and I also like to help people who want to know how to partner with their doctors. And because your doctors are so important when you're carnivore. And don't get your medical advice from YouTube, but learn the questions and the information you need to be a better patient and help your doctor be a better doctor. So that's my parting thing. And I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks
Take
so
care.
much, Phil.
Love you, Dr. Phil. You're the best. See you next
See
week.
you, Dr. Phil. Appreciate you.
Isn't he great, guys? Like, every time he comes on, let's send him a bunch of love, because this is not his comfort zone at all. He's not used to, just sitting in front of hundreds of people and then, being watched by thousands more. So he's doing his best, and he's doing fantastic. So
Yeah, for sure. Legitimately, my favorite part is listening to Phil answer the questions. I learned so much.
Yeah.
I also might take off as well, if that's okay with everyone.
Oh, Chad, no problem at all. I know you have a family, you have kids, kiddos.
Yeah, I
Appreciate it.
promised them to do a couple more things with them tonight, so I better get to them.
All right. Appreciate it, Chad.
Oh, don't let us leave you. Love you, Chad. You're the best.
Yeah.
Thank
Have
you
a
so
great
much. My daughter Zenobia said to tell you hi, and she was so excited to
Aw.
make your pancakes.
Yay. Tell her I love her. Hi, Zenobia.
Okay.
Yay.
All right. Bye, guys. I
Chad.
appreciate
Bye.
you.
See you tomorrow,
Bye.
Chad.
Anytime. Appreciate you too. Whoa,
All
look at
right.
this view. 3 people.
Whoa.
It's like so close.
That is way too much. That's way too much hat.
Let's zoom
All right. Let's whoa.
out. Ooh.
Is that better?
Scary.
You're so funny. Your eyes are probably 10 times more sensitive than mine. I can't even imagine how sensitive your eyes are.
Oh man. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Yay. Okay. Oh, Gunther again. Thank you all for your answers. Some follow-up details. I do 100% strict line with no cheat meals. Only eat 100% grass-fed beef fat trimmings and beef. 2-to-1 fat to protein in grams. And I eat until satiated. So that's 2,500 calories per day. Okay. Lots of great detail here.
That is. Gunther,
yeah.
I had to eat, I was eating 1,400 calories when I didn't have any energy. And then for the first 5 weeks, it took me about 5 weeks to get up to eating probably 3,000 calories, but then my appetite opened up. And when my appetite opened up, I started eating 7 pounds of meat a day, and I continued to do that for about almost 6 full months. From the beginning of priming to the end of priming, I was about 6.5 months, and I ate 7 pounds of meat a day for almost 6 full months. And then my energy went through the roof. Everything healed. My eyes healed. My hair grew back. Just everything was healing. And then I got energy like I didn't even know was possible. Like sleep for 6 hours, pop out of bed, work for 14 to 16 hours, have good brain energy. I mean, it's crazy. And then, a real testament to priming too is Thomas DeLauren has a video out there, and I think it says like my 10 best guests advice on losing weight, and one of the
Oh,
experts that came in was actually a
do you remember
coach.
the name?
I don't remember the name. I'm going to find the video because I keep referencing this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to go back
Yeah,
and
you
find
do.
the video. Yeah, because
Okay.
it was pretty impressive that he was a very high end UFC coach, and he used
nice.
basically priming, because he said when his fighters would come in, he would put them on a calorie restrictive diet, and he would work them out even 10 14 hours a day, and they wouldn't lose weight, and he needed them to cut weight. And so in order for him to get them to lose weight, he first had to feed them like 3,500 to 4,500 calories a day, get their metabolism up, and then he could cut their, like he said, he was trying to cut their calories at first to like 1,700 calories, 2,200 calories, and work them 14 hours a day, and they weren't losing weight. So he fed them like 3,500 to 4,500 calories a day for a few weeks, got their metabolism up, and then cut them down to like 2,500 to 3,000 calories, and then they would lose weight. And that's and that's like, he was training professional UFC fighters for big money matches, and he even acknowledged that was what he had to do to get them to lose weight.
That's very fascinating and very much aligned with, the whole concept of let's feast and fast, prime and fast. So hopefully that gives you some inspiration. Is it Gunther? Gunther? Shoot, I forgot the name.
Oh, hold on.
I took down the question. Thank you. Yeah. Hopefully that helps you, Gunther. I wanted to just chime in on the whole fat to protein, 2 to 1 fat to protein. So he's eating grass-fed beef fat trimmings, which is fantastic. Are you eating it raw or cooked? Because I have found that's made quite a difference in my energy levels and also how easily it digests for me. When you eat grass-fed beef fat trimmings, and guys, if you're in the live stream, chime in. It will taste like a candle, right? It tastes very waxy. It has a very sticky, chewy consistency and texture. It gets stuck to your teeth. But that is the consistency of beef fat raw. When you eat it like that, for some reason, I have found that it just digests so well. And it almost directly gets translated as pure energy, especially if you are already fat adapted. So I do really love snacking, relying on raw suet or raw beef fat trimmings when I need that boost of energy, if I don't have butter. Any thoughts, Lindy?
I actually love tallow. I know you're the steak and butter gal, but I love my tallow, and I'll just grab a spoon.
Love it.
And
That's great.
gone. I love it. Yeah. So definitely tallow for me all the way.
Perfect. There's plenty of ways to get the fats up and maybe push the energy up as well. You could even try playing with 3 to 1, Gunther. Okay, let's keep going.
Go.
Oh, fat does not make you fat. Oh, see, steak and butter gal. Thank you all. I guess she just really wants to, he or she wants to emphasize this. And very well said. Fat really doesn't make you fat. And sure, like you can use me as an example. When I up the fats, I've only lost. And at this point, to be honest, guys, at this point, I don't really want to lose any more weight. Like, I just don't. I'm at a point where it's like, whoa, maybe my metabolism is so revved up, so fast, so up to par that now I have to do the opposite of things that I've been saying. Okay, do this for fat loss, do this for fat loss. Now, personally, I'm at a place where I am not trying to lose fat. I'm trying to gain healthy weight.
Yep.
And truly, this is a blessing to even be able to say this. I recognize that most people are going to think, oh, Belle, you're so freaking lucky to get to say that. You would never understand. Like, I've tried my whole life trying to lose weight. That was me. Maybe up until the beginning of this year is when I really felt like my metabolism was just revving the hell up, Until the beginning of this year, I have struggled with my fat loss goals for my whole life. Being a vegan for 6 years, my weight fluctuated so much. I had intense cravings. I never felt full. My hormones were wrecked. And so, yeah, fat not only doesn't make you fat, it heals you inside out. I want to thank my favorite food in the world, butter, for giving me all these results. You know, what are your thoughts, Todd?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, I sit here and I don't lose any weight at 1,400 calories, and then Raymond turns me into an eating machine, and I'm eating 7,000 to 8,000 calories for 6 months, and I lose weight. You know, I gained weight at first, 21 pounds, but it was all just the food that I was eating that was in my system and a little bit of fluid. As soon as I fasted, that 21 pounds came off in 5 days. And what was left was just lean, healthy tissue that had healed, right? And meanwhile, when I was doing calorie restrictive diets, I could literally eat the stupid calorie restrict, like 14 months of a weightlifter's diet of high protein, low fat, and moderate carbohydrates. I was as sick as I'd ever been, and I lost like 37 pounds in 14 months, starving myself for 14 months, wanting to eat a bullet every day. And then I come over here and I do carnivore for 22 months, and I lose 310 pounds eating fat. Right? It's like, it's a no-brainer, right? It's so obvious that is the exact answer that our body needs. It's the missing link. It's why 74% of the Earth's population is overweight or obese, because we've demonized red meat and we've demonized fat. Plain and simple.
Yep. Well said.
Yeah.
Lindy, any thoughts?
Yeah, I restricted fat for the first year, and then I stalled, but I also lost so much hair. It was just falling out by the clumpfuls. So then I had to get past that. You know, you're going to put on, if you eat fat, you're going to put on fat. So I got past all of that, started upping the fats, and my hair started to, it stopped falling out, and the weight still was broken. I then started losing weight again. So it definitely ramped up the metabolism again. But the hair was a big issue for me. I had very, very thick hair. It has stopped falling out. Now I'm just waiting for the new growth to come and hoping that it will thicken up. But under eating and not enough fat will cause the hair to fall out. So be careful.
That is a fact. Yep. But if you keep nourishing yourself like Lindy is right now, will grow back. Hair will always grow back. I mean, Todd. Oh, firstly, answer that, Todd. 7 pounds a day or 7 pounds a week?
A day, every day. And I know everybody thinks that's crazy, but that's why I was trying to find some of the pictures. Lindy and Michael can attest, but let's see. Yeah, I'll just show this real quick. But it was 7 pounds a day. There we go. This is just one meal, and I would eat 3 to 4 of these meals a day, and I'd have 2 giant ribeyes that I cut every day. Let me pull these up. Or I would eat that, and I would eat a 18 egg omelet. And I was just trying to find some of these pictures. Oh, here we go. This is when I was prepping for my priming, because I was eating so much meat. I used to buy the 18-pound prime ribs 5 and 6 at a time, So I'd buy 120 pounds of prime rib at a time. No, it was 7 pounds a day, and I was knocking them back. So,
and you love to send these photos when we're fasting too. So
I did. I was torturing them.
He's like, "Look what I'm eating." We're like, "We're fasting."
What a tease! Yeah, Todd is definitely the one person that can eat more than me, because at my maximum, I can eat 5 pounds of meat a day. Now, where I am at now, I cannot reach that. Like, even if I tried my hardest with all of my might, I don't think I can get back to 5 pounds a day. So I honestly miss those days. And that's why I always say, when you have that ravenous appetite in that bottomless pit, wow, that is a gift. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Don't fight it.
And it comes to you, right? Like I had a big stomach because I could overeat before, but I couldn't eat that much meat. And after the first 9 months of OMAD and carnivore, I couldn't eat more than 1.25 pounds of meat. It took 5 weeks to get to that point, but I kid you not, it was like, that was when I really became a believer on priming, because my appetite opened up so much. I wasn't forcing myself to eat 7 pounds of meat a day. I couldn't not eat 7 pounds of meat a day. I was ravenous for meat. I couldn't get enough of that stuff. And so I just had to lean into it. So it's a very real thing. And it's when your body's finally going, oh, we can heal. We got so much healing to do.
Yes.
Let's just do this and then let's go sleep. And I kid you not, I would eat 7 pounds of meat over about 3 meals, and then I'd be tired and I'd go sleep for like 7, 8, 9 hours, which for me is a ton. And I'd wake
Mhm.
up and I would visibly be skinnier. I would visibly have less inflammation, and I would see
Yeah.
changes on me, and my posture was better. I mean, I got
Oh.
taller. I got
Yeah.
taller during the priming. It was crazy.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
Couldn't believe it.
Wow. Yeah. We hear all these magical miracle stories, but we keep hearing it. So it can't be made up. You know, these are real people also feeling the deep, deep healing and fantastic miracles. It's very inspiring. Awesome. Let's keep going. Oh, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to all of you live streamers still on with us. Thank you so much for being here. Like it's now how long, Todd? How long has it been so far?
It's been 2 hours and 24 minutes.
Okay. 2 hours and 24 minutes. If you're still here, I see you. I really, really thank you for your support and for like interacting with us, because it keeps us going, gives us a lot of energy. Let me just feature some of your wonderful comments. Bella, you seem to be getting more and more. Whatever. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you so
You
much.
have a fan.
I hope you have a girlfriend or a wife who's also carnivore. You deserve it.
For sure.
Let's see. Hi, Phyllis. Oh, is Phyllis here? Hi, Phyllis. Welcome. Ooh, look at this. I'm cooking 60 pounds of brisket right now. Oh, is it 60
That's
pounds or
awesome.
60 ounces? Either way, that is awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Ooh. I actually get cravings for fat. Yes, fat.
100%.
It's really natural. It's really natural. Don't fight it. Yeah. Homie can eat. I think they're talking about you.
I know, and I shouldn't be
Absolutely.
proud that I can out eat Bella, weighs like 110 pounds, but I am actually proud.
You should be. Oh, Randy, piano. Now that I have your attention, you actually did have my attention using that word. I absolutely love your videos, Bella. LOL. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you love them. I thank you for your support, Randy. Awesome. Shall we go back to questions? Let's
Sure, let
keep answering them.
Let me make
Okay,
sure we
you
don't
can
have
put
any
it up.
supers. Okay.
Yay.
All right.
You're so welcome, Spirit. This is
Appreciate
so
you
fun.
so much.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, Carney for Health. How can I raise my free T3? Taking 10 drops of 2% Lugol's iodine a day. I tried Armor, now on L-thionine 22 and levothyroxine 50 mcg. Yet my
Alright.
free T3 remains low. So Todd and Lindy, you guys are fantastic for this. Todd takes Lugol's, and I believe Lindy, you take levothyroxine, or is it Armor?
Thyroxine. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Levothyroxine. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
My-
I-
yeah,
go
my-
ahead. Oh,
Go ahead.
you
You-
go, Todd.
Okay.
Yep.
I take the Lugol's 5%, but I take 20 drops of it, 50. You're taking 50 micrograms. I take 50 milligrams. So I quite enjoy that, and it's helping a lot, but a little bit crazier, and you don't have to do this, but a little bit crazier is I eat 54 raw egg yolks a day. I do, and it's not as bad as it sounds. It's just about 12 ounces of egg yolks in this cup. It fills it up to about there. It's about 12
Okay.
ounces, and it's
Not
18
bad.
egg yolks.
Yeah.
I do that 3 times a day, and egg yolks have DHA in them, which is precursor to your hormones for testosterone and T3. And I found my testosterone was incredibly low, and my free T3 was incredibly low, and it over tripled in carnivore doing the 54 egg yolks a day. And that's what I'm doing now. And I just look at it like I'm taking 3 protein drinks a day. This is how I look at it. So I would try egg yolks.
Great hack.
Oh, good to know. I'm having quite a lot of eggs now, so I'm hoping that's going to help me. I'm on 175 of the levothyroxine, and I'm due to go and have another blood test in the next couple of weeks just to see if my levels have stabilized, but I'm hoping to reverse that one day. Dr. Lisa Wiedemann recently did a sardine fast, and they talk about the sardines really help with the thyroid and healing. That's something I really want to try. so I'm thinking of doing that over the next week, and then go in and have my blood test and see if that makes a difference as well. So that's something to
great.
look into as well.
That's a lot. Yeah. All great tips. Let us know, Carnivore Health, if any of those make any difference for you. Okay, this next. Oh, sorry. Were you going to
Sorry.
put a different one?
Yeah, no worries. You can put whichever one
Okay.
you wish.
Okay. Yeah, this is what's next on my list. So Lynn's says, I'm 3 months carnivore. I started hoping to improve chronic bloating and to heal low thyroid function. Still have bloating after every single thing that I eat. How long could this take to improve? Bloating. With 3 months carnivore, I wonder if the bloating is due to oxalate dumping, still detoxing things from what she was eating before carnivore, or if she might be eating some ingredients in her carnivore diet that might be causing the inflammation or the bloating or the indigestion, right? So dairy is the first food that comes to mind that can cause bloating.
And egg whites for me can cause
There you go.
bloating.
Even egg whites.
Yeah, so when people come to me and they go, I'm carnivore and nothing's happening, this isn't happening, that isn't happening. Sometimes people don't understand how some people will eat packaged meat or canned meat or whatever and not understand all the crap that's in some of those, Some of them are okay, but some of them are really bad. And it also depends on how clean a carnivore you are, really, and for myself included, because when I was eating a bunch of, I was bad when I was first trying to do ketovore, carnivore, for eating sausage and stuff. And there's a lot of junk in sausage. They fill it up with a lot of crap. That was making me bloated. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Lynn's, take a look at your current carnivore diet. What are you eating? Are there any processed foods? So, this includes sausages, like Todd said, bacon. Bacon can sneak some really nasty ingredients. So, check the ingredients list and then play around with egg whites and dairy. Let us know if that helps. Okay. This is from Child of Elohim. How much fat should we be consuming daily? Well, let's just all share how much fat, typically we consume per day. For me, it's, now I have to think. I don't track. Okay, let's just say my first meal, I'm having 80-20 ground beef, usually about 2 pounds of 80-20 ground beef. Okay, so that's how much fat there is. And a side of raw cheese. If I don't have raw cheese, I'll just do my usual butter. I'll have like 2 tablespoons of butter with that first meal. And then the second meal, I'll have like a fatty steak, like ribeye, or just more fatty ground beef, more butter if I need it. It's just like my answer is eat as much fat as you possibly want. There's no limit. How about you, Lindy?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't track macros or count anything. If I'm hungry and I want fat, I'll eat it. If I don't, I just take that as my body doesn't want it, so I don't eat the fat. So
Yeah.
I love my raw egg yolks. I'll probably have 2 and I dip my steak pieces in that, and that's a bit of fat there. Or the tallow, maybe a tablespoon with my steak, and that steak I kind of graze over through the day. So yeah, not a lot. I don't eat a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Todd?
Right now I'm eating about a 65 to 70% fat to protein ratio. But honestly, the answer is listen to what your body wants. So sometimes I have to have a 2 to even 2.5 to 1 protein or fat to protein ratio. Sometimes I'm down to a 1 to 1 ratio. It's whatever my body's wanting at the time. But there was a time that I had to go to 2 to 1 because I ended up being more efficient with gluconeogenesis than I was being fat adapt. But what changed that for me was dry fasting. Dry fasting really kicked my fat adaptation in gear because it forces your body to go get the metabolic fluid out of your stored fat cells, which makes you way more fat adapt. So when that happened, I actually required less dietary fat because without going into gluconeogenesis, because my body was more efficient at getting stored body fat, which is optimal. So right now I eat about a 1.5 to 1 fat to protein ratio, if that all makes any kind of sense.
That's awesome. Let's keep going. Ahmed, I started carnivore 3 to 4. I do remember doing this. Yes. So let's unstar that. Okay, how about this one? Crystal, I'm almost 120 days carnivore. I am a non-smoker of 3 weeks. Congrats. This has not opened my appetite, but seems to have closed my appetite. Should I just power through and prime until the appetite opens? What do you think,
Yes,
Todd?
and add cheese. So I quit a 26-year nicotine addiction, and I lost my appetite too when I quit chewing. That was last October. So we're coming up right on a year. And I lost my appetite. And Raymond gave me beautiful, he was my coach at the time, and he gave me beautiful advice. And he said, when you're going through something like this, to open up your appetite, bring back the things that open up your appetite. So for me, I brought back cheese. That opened up my appetite. And that's why for now and always, anytime I don't have an appetite and my metabolism's low,
Yeah.
I go for the dairy. So that's my crutch.
It always works. Cheese always opens the appetite.
Yep.
Do you have thoughts, Lindy, that you wanted to share?
No, I've never smoked, but definitely adding the cheese to increase the appetite. If you're having coffee, that can be an appetite suppressant as well. So maybe have your coffee for dessert and not before meals. That's maybe another one to increase the appetite.
Perfect. Okay, please help. Hi, everyone. This is Tony and Tammy from Arizona. Hi, Tammy. I have Hashimoto's carnivore since February 2024. The anxiety has come back. Is it because I don't eat grass-fed meat? I don't think not eating grass-fed meat will cause anxiety to come back.
For me, I had terrible anxiety, like terrible anxiety. For me, the only time that my anxiety came back was also the reason that I came to SBG was because I was under eating. And when you under eat, it's the fat. I mean, for sure, for me, if I get any anxiety, I know I'm under eating, and especially under eating fat. And that's the first thing I add back in, and it goes away.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just thinking, if the not eating grass-fed meat has been a constant variable the whole time, and then your anxiety comes back in the middle of that it cannot be from that, right? It's got to be from something that you were playing around with. Did Tammy add something in that she has never added in before? Maybe like some spices, maybe milk, things that just might spike the insulin. I would be detective and look towards those types of things rather than just thinking, oh, I'm not eating high quality enough. Yeah, we don't think so. So eat more fat, eat more in general, like Todd says. Let us know if that helps. By the way, we're having these live streams every single week. And like Todd has been coaching me through this because Todd and Lindy are the expert live streamers here. They've been doing it for how long now? Didn't you just celebrate your anniversary?
Yeah,
Last year.
over a year now.
Wow. Over a year of doing something, you can learn so much. And honestly, you become an expert at that thing when you do it consistently for a year. So Todd and I, we've been trying to figure out, okay, well, which time might be the most optimal for this audience, right? You guys watching. And this time around, compared to last week, it's later, right? Because last week we did a little bit earlier.
No, I think it's the
Was it?
exact same time, actually. But
Mm.
yeah, I think it was the exact same time last week, actually. But I do feel that that earlier might be a little bit better.
Yeah,
If-
I think so too. So let's test that next week. Of course, everyone here, let us know if there's any specific times that you think is popular. Like if you're if you're an active live stream watcher, we could learn a lot of feedback from you guys. What are your favorite times to hop on live streams, if that makes any sense? Because I know there's so many YouTubers doing live streams, like some of them do it daily. I'd be curious to know how like just changing times per week will help the community and see how it reflects. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, for sure. Now I can't remember where I left off.
Oh, sorry. I'll go back.
There you go.
Oh, no
There's the
worries.
next one.
Okay. I was diagnosed with hypothyroid years ago. I am on levothyroxine. Okay. I recently tried 10 drops of the 2%. In about 1 week, my ears started ringing. Do you have any explanation for why? How about you, Todd?
So let's see. Did you say 1 week and her ears started ringing? 1 week, my ears started ringing.
Yeah, 1 week. Yeah.
So I think it's probably things. I actually think things are healing. So I've had 2 extreme reactions that were related to my testosterone. One was several years ago when I took testosterone injections. The first testosterone injection I ever had gave me a migraine. I had to go home and close my eyes and lay down for a minute. When I woke up, or when I opened my eyes, my ears were ringing, and I could see. I felt like I was seeing in high definition for the first time. I felt like I was seeing color for the first time. Whatever that injection did, I was my hormones were so messed up that testosterone turned something on. It was making my ears ring, and I felt like I could see in color for the first time. I took testosterone for about 5 weeks. My eyesight was better, but I stopped taking testosterone shots because I found out that you can become dependent on them. Anyhow, fast forward, when I started taking 50 milligrams, not micrograms of iodine, glucose iodine, first day I did that, I had the same response, which is why I knew I was also on the right track. I had to close my eyes and my ears started ringing. And I opened my eyes and I felt like I could see color again for the first time. Like everything was more vivid and bright. And so I realized that had something very similar to do with testosterone that was going on there. So I don't know what it means, but it went away for me on the iodine. And I took that as a healing sign when I could see color. I just was like, well, this is heading in the right direction. It's extreme, but it's a good thing, So that's basically, I don't know why it's doing it, but it did clear up for me.
Okay. Yeah. Lindy, do you take iodine?
I have tried it, but I didn't find it do like any difference whether I was on it or not. So every now and then I pop a little bit of a squirt on my meat and have it, but I don't take it religiously every day.
Gotcha. Yeah. Hopefully that helps, Sheila. Okay, Briar, how do you determine how much water you should drink in a day? I'm guessing the amount would fluctuate, but based in what, especially if there's signal in. I personally determine how much water I drink by just drinking to thirst. So that's my answer. How about you, Todd?
Yeah. So, man, it's a complicated one. I drink to thirst, but I quit so many things that I was over drinking water. I think the last addiction I had was actually water. And so it's such an individual thing, but I was over drinking water. It was causing calf cramps. It was causing fluid retention. But there was some sort of link there. I don't know what it was, but I fixed it with dry fasting and fat adaptation. When I did that, I lost I was able to access metabolic fluid in my body, which seemed to satiate me for salt, which made me not want to eat salt anymore. So I stopped salting my food. When I stopped salting my food, I stopped having a water addiction because I was drinking 2 to 2.5 gallons of water a day. And it was putting a ton of fluid on me. And it was also washing out my gut bacteria. So it was making it hard to digest meat. And, but it was like an asphyxiation that I had drinking water. And now I only drink, if I drink a half a gallon, that's a lot in a day. So I've gone down about 20%. So long story short, I am now able to listen to my body, but I was not able to listen to my body till I got fat adapted and was able to access the metabolic fluid and got away from the salt. And I'm not advocating that everybody has to quit salt. I'm just saying when I healed to the point that my body no longer craves salt, that made it easier to regulate my thirst. So for whatever help that gives you. Yeah.
I'm curious, Todd, since we're on the topic of no salt. Once you cut out the salt, do you find meat tastes bland?
not at all. I think it actually, now when I put salt on meat, it tastes too salty. When I eat meat without salt, it tastes perfectly salty on its own, and I love the flavor that it already comes with. So I
Yes.
don't know how that happened, because I tried to quit salt once. I tried to quit salt about a year ago, and I was going to do Lion Diet, no salt for 90 days. I made Lion Diet for 90 days, but I only made no salt for 2 weeks. Couldn't do it. I needed the salt.
Mm.
Then I started dry fasting. When I started dry fasting and my fluid consumption went down, all of a sudden I found out I didn't
Yeah.
have a craving for salt anymore. And when I stopped craving salt, my palate changed. All the food automatically tasted salty on its own. Now when I taste something with salt in it, it's unpleasant. It's weird.
I mean, I can relate. So it makes a lot of sense because when I eat steak with salt on it, it burns my throat. That's how intense it is for me.
Mm.
Not only does it taste way too salty, it legit burns my throat. And I'm like, oh, that does not feel good at all. So
That's
that's
funny
why I
that-
just, yeah.
That's funny they say that. It burns my tongue now when I get salt, and I would take something that's salt. Like, it's what main reason I stopped eating
Right.
bacon. Bacon's too salty. When I eat the bacon, my tongue swells up. It's weird.
Mm.
Like that's a sign then we don't need the salt. And again, for most people, you need salt. Okay. You're not going to feel great if you cut out salt, especially if you're not. I love hearing these stories where carnivores naturally stumble upon it because they're like, oh, one day I just realized that all that salt that I usually add just didn't taste good. In fact, Dr. Chafee told me this story that he experienced. He just naturally gravitated away from salt, away from salting his meat because he just didn't feel like he needed it for flavor.
For
meat
sure.
plain was so flavorful for him, and me too and Todd. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I used to love adding salt to mine, and then I transitioned to smoked salt just to get that different flavor. And I was going through a stage of having all different types of smoked salt, and now nothing on my meat. I just have it plain as well. Yeah, but I do
Right.
like salt on my eggs still. I find eggs can be a little bit bland, and even if I put a bit of butter, I'll put a little bit of salt on that. I really enjoy that, but I can't have salted butter. Has to
Oh,
be
it's salty.
unsalted. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Mm.
It's almost as if like our taste buds reset the longer you just feed it natural foods. You don't even need added stuff like salt. Yeah.
No, and it kind of makes sense, because where were we getting salt when when we're hunting? I mean,
Yeah.
yes, we could go mine it or whatever, but were people really carrying around a bunch of salt? I doubt it.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's just a sign of healing. I think as we heal, we
Mm.
become more metabolically balanced, and we have the nutrients and the minerals that we need. We stop needing them, and for me, I know for a fact that it was when I became like hyper fat adapt, I stopped needing salt because I was able to get the perfect metabolic fluid out of our bodies like we're supposed to have it, because my electrolytes were finally balanced, So,
Exactly. Yeah, just let me put up some messages regarding what we're talking about here. I hear you, Lindy, not a fan of salted butter. Yeah, I've tried to enjoy salted butter. It's just so salty. And I don't understand why they add it to like those cookie recipes, dessert recipes for baking. I guess adding salt to sweet stuff maybe makes the flavor more complex. I don't know.
well, I know that they figured out with salt. So like this, that's why soda, if you look at Coca-Cola, it's
Mm.
got the sweet, the salt, and something else in there. I forget what it is. But the food companies know, like, if you put salt, if you're monitoring the brain and you put salt on something, it'll light up a certain endorphin part of the brain. If you put sugar in
just
it,
like
lights.
sugar.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep, just like sugar. But for them to get the hat trick, there's like 3 ingredients that they put in everything. Salt is one of them, sugar is one of them, and there was a third one. I forget
So
what
like
it
an
is.
acid or something. I
Yeah.
watch a lot of cooking shows, and they use all of those little tips, and you need to balance it. You need some acid to break this, and that's the way they
Oh.
talk on it. Yeah.
It is. And if you watch, Robert Lustig is the first guy that I seen show this, but the Coke companies, they literally are making addictive drugs out of this potion that they make with these highly they stimulate your brain and they cause endorphin fixes in these like 3 parts of your brain. And salt is one of those things. It's why they put it in soda. Salt and sugars and everything because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So John says salt is still better than sugary barbecue sauce. That is a fact.
100%.
That is a fact.
Yes.
Yeah. Facts. I saw another one. Okay. John wants to know, have you tried steak with savory soy sauce? So the thing with soy sauce, it's very problematic.
Bad for the testosterone. Way bad for the testosterone.
Oh,
Because of the
Yeah, soy microplastics and seed oils are the 3 biggest things that wreck men's testosterone. That's what wrecked my testosterone. So I stay away from soy like it's the devil, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And soy sauce is full of that. Yeah. I believe there's gluten in soy sauce.
I think so.
I should know. I'm Asian. I should know. That's why, because that's why in health food stores they have gluten-free soy sauce called coconut aminos. If
Yeah.
you know that ingredient's so popular in vegan communities, coconut aminos, because it's gluten-free. So I think there's actually quite a lot of problematic things about soy sauce, but no, I have not tried it.
Yeah, soy sauce full of estrogen.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
Hmm.
I throw rocks at soy sauce, says Ricky. Soy sauce has wheat. There you go. So that's why it has gluten. Soy is the devil. Yep, it is coconut aminos. I stopped liking soy sauce. Good. Very good.
Yeah.
Shall we keep doing questions? How about this? And also, when we're answering these questions, now that the serious carnivores are gone, we can just hang out.
For sure.
Like now
That's
I'm
good.
really having fun. No, with Dr.
We don't have
Phil, I
Raymond.
want- and Raymond and Chad, to be honest, he's very, very hardcore. But like when
Yes.
Dr. Phil is there, I want all the questions to go to Dr. Phil because Dr. Phil is hard to get. You know, he's so
For
busy. He's very selective about where he spends his time. So I'm always so honored. But now that it's just us 3, we can chill. But Gliscore says, how does milk on carnivore work since it has carbs? Can I drink it still or should I not? I eat cheese and dairy. It sits fine with me. I haven't played with milk just yet. Maybe I will. If I want to see if it helps with the gains, maybe I will. But right now, kefir is working great for me and cheese is working great for me too. How about you, Todd?
You know, I don't do any dairy unless I'm trying to prime and I'm having a hard time opening up my appetite. So other than that, I stay away from it. But it's just because I'm doing carnivore to heal and to lose weight. So it depends on why you're doing carnivore. If you needed
Right.
to eat more, if you're not eating enough, if you're under eating and you need to gain weight, then absolutely drink your milk and you don't have to worry about the carbs. But if you have a carb addiction, a sugar addiction, and you haven't gotten free from, I think anything that makes you not be able to stop eating or eat the way you want to, you should be able to choose what you want to eat and not have any fight from your body, So like you shouldn't have to fight a craving when you're trying. Like you should be able to tell your body you're going to eat, eggs or bacon within reason. You might get a little bit of meat aversion, but if you're doing something that's making you go, I'm eating this, but I really want a donut or some carb, then I think it's a problem. And for me, milk was that thing, so I don't do it at all. I stay away from it. Plus, like Charlie always says, milk, cow's milk is for making little cows into 400-pound steers, so that casing really does open up your appetite,
Absolutely. How about you, Lindy?
Yeah, I was just going to say that point. Dr. Berry says, all mammals feed their babies milk to make them fat. So obviously, I don't want to gain any more fat. I need to lose it. So I stay away from milk for that reason. And dairy as well. I just find I get inflamed with it. So I love dairy, but dairy doesn't love me. So I need to stay away. But if you don't have any issues with it and you're enjoying it and you're reaching all your goals, go for it.
Fantastic. Well said. So question for everyone in this live stream. I'm very curious how dairy sits with you all. Do you guys incorporate dairy? And what types of dairy? Feel free to share that in the chat. I'll feature your messages. Okay, let me just go here. This is a great one. What do you eat to prime? Anything carnivore. You don't have to be picky or selective. In fact, the more variety, the better, is what we've seen with community members when they prime, because you don't want to restrict, for example, lion diet while priming. That's going to be tough because you're going to really hate eating 3 meals a day, every single day, eating the same ingredients. What are your thoughts, Todd?
Yeah, you got to open up the diet especially when you're first priming. You got to open it up to anything, and that includes milk and all those things that I just said. That's why I said, unless you're priming and you need to open up the appetite, you need to use all the cheat codes you can to open up your appetite and get the food in. And then once you're there, once you've done it, once you've done the main prime, then you can kind of play with it because you can kind of understand it a little bit better. But that first time, to kind of retrain your appetite, cheese, sour cream, cottage cheese, yogurt, all that stuff, it's all on the table for me anyways. So
Yeah. Do you recognize that's Charlie
Charlie, yeah,
right there? I didn't know
Yeah.
that's him. So CC is Charlie because I recognize this because he always does.
exactly.
So cute.
That's,
So cute.
that's Charlie and Marilyn. Thanks,
How
guys,
do
so
you
much.
do that? My fingers don't
Charlie and
work.
Marilyn. Oh, you can't do it? Oh, Todd can do it.
No, I need to tie my fingers.
Oh, you
Try the
you
other
weren't
one.
No.
you weren't a
No?
fan of Star Trek then when you were a kid. It's a Star Trek
Oh.
thing.
I'm weird. So
Yeah.
No.
Not at all.
Be kicked out of the cool kids club now.
Not at all.
Thank you so much.
Everyone
for
watching the
watching,
live,
Charlie. I
they're not
appreciate
doing this. Yeah, thank you,
They are.
Charlie. It's like, oh.
it. Everybody's testing. We
yeah.
got a super.
Oh my gosh, it's Brian. Brian is a longtime SBG member. He's like one of the first gentlemen that joined. So,
Oh,
hi,
wow.
Brian. Nice to see you here. Yeah. So, he wants to know, does fermented dairy mitigate appetite stimulation compared to non fermented dairy?
That's a good question.
Oh, wow. So, I'll tell you my experience because I've played around with cream. Would you say cream is not fermented, right?
No, cream wouldn't be. It would
Yeah.
have to be like a real Greek yogurt or a kefir.
Right. So I've played around with cream, like raw, heavy whipping cream, and I've also played around with raw cheese and raw kefir. Both of those are fermented dairy. When I eat the non-fermented dairy, yes, oof, it tastes like candy to me. Like when I drink that cream, I don't drink just a couple sips. I drink the whole bottle because it tastes like sugar water to me, or sugar milk, like condensed milk.
Mhm.
So yes, I do find that with fermented dairy, like it's still so palatable. It's still going to open up your appetite. Just minutes ago, Brian, maybe you just jumped on. Todd, Lindy, and I, we were talking about how when people have a difficult time opening up the appetite or eating enough, we all agreed that cheese is the food to help, So I think it's a very personal thing. I will raw dairy, raw cheese, and raw kefir has not been like it's only brought such great benefit to my life and to my strength goals. So Brian, are you trying to lose fat is my question, or are you trying to build muscle? Because fermented dairy can really serve you really well if you want to build a lot of muscle. What are your thoughts, Todd?
Yeah, I mean, fermented dairy, I think it would still cause the appetite because I can't imagine. I think it's the casing in the dairy that causes the appetite. You know what I mean? And so I would think that I don't think fermenting it gets rid of the casing. Now I have seen fermentation get rid of oxalates and also capsaicin in vegetables, but I don't know that it would get rid of casing. That would be something interesting to look at. But I mean, for me, that'd be a really easy thing to test because it's day and night different as soon as I have dairy with casing in it. I mean, my appetite, all of a sudden, it reminds me of the old me where I want to sit there and eat twice as much as I normally would. You know what I mean?
Makes sense. How about you, Lindy?
Yeah. So you're saying Greek yogurt, would that be fermented dairy? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that should.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I
fermented.
did have
That
s-
is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I did have some last week at my daughter's house, and I was still
Oh,
hungry afterwards. I was craving. I just wanted to keep eating it, you know. So
yeah.
definitely does ramp up the appetite. And if I don't eat any like protein or something afterwards, I will start craving other things. So definitely a bit
Right.
dangerous for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's all help Brian out. Like, what are your experiences? If you're in this live stream, put it in the chat. I'm going to feature some of your guys' messages. I just love reading your messages because I learn so much and it's also so hilarious. So let's slow down and just enjoy these messages. Hold on. Ooh, cheese and olives. I used to love pastries, was a horrible addiction. Good for you for getting over pastries addiction. Here, Darcy says, I'm still having dairy, mostly cheese. Sometimes I will try sour cream as a garnish. Oof, sour cream is so good as a garnish.
Yes.
Interesting that Andrew craves broccoli. I don't understand what's so good about broccoli that you crave it.
The farts. I think that's the only thing I've got out of broccoli.
Maybe
Maybe-
like Raymond.
Right?
Maybe the crunch. Try some pork rinds to get that
Mm,
crunch.
Good point. So fascinating. Yeah. Oh, I see a super chat. Hold on, let me just feature some more here.
No worries.
I love Parmesan that's unpasteurized. Me too. It's so good. Cheddar, mozzarella, cream, sour cream. Oof, those are all great dairy products. Yum. Ooh,
Parmesan
I like
for the win.
right? Parmesan is so good. I like Organic Valley grass-fed organic raw sharp cheddar cheese and full-fat cottage cheese. Fantastic.
That Organic Valley raw sharp. Oh man, that's good.
Oh, that's one of my favorites. That's one of
Mhm.
my favorites. Yeah. Ooh, let's see. Yes, hi iDog TV. Oh, I see all of your comments. I see your comments. You're seriously like a long viewer. I really appreciate you. Whoa, is that a Samson Q2U mic? If so, I have that same mic. It is. It is. This is the Samson Q2U. I've had this since day one of doing YouTube, and I still use it.
Wow.
It's awesome, and it's very affordable. It's on
They're not
Amazon.
bad.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Old cheese go. Okay, let's do the super chat. Hi, Benjamin. Thank you for joining the live. Thank you for your super chat. So, Benjamin says, struggling 23 days ribeyes and salt and water, 2,500 calories, MCAS histamine reaction. I wake up jittery and anxious, almost quit. I wake up hungry, not excited for meals. Blood sugars 5.6 to 7.2. My ketone 0.8 to 1.8. Mood is flat. Sleep is blah. Thank you for the details. This really helps us help you troubleshoot. 23 days ribeye, salt, and water. I'm guessing you're doing lion diet or ribeye only diet because you want to heal your MCAS. That probably makes sense, right? Now,
Yeah.
Todd, do you know anything about MCAS?
Yeah. So Lynn has that mast cell activation syndrome.
Midlife carnival, Lynn.
Yeah.
Oh, Lynn. Okay.
So it actually limits how much stuff they can eat without having a histamine response. So, but the fact that he's eating ribeye, I mean, ribeyes are generally a more aged meat, you know. So I'm gonna channel Alyssa and say, have you tried lamb? Right? Because some of that
yeah.
might be from the aged red meat, because you
Right.
might be having a histamine reaction to that. But also 2,500, like, why are you, like, I'm guessing you're doing lion because you're trying to not have a histamine reaction. That's why I asked that. But also 2,500 calories seems like a lot, but it's not really if you haven't primed yet. Like, it's not a lot at all. So you need more food, but you need to find food that you can get down in a palatable way. And it might just be doing like what Coach Amy says and doing 5 bites an hour, even when you don't feel like it. And you're going to be lethargic through the healing process, you know. But also, the fat could help. And I know that ribeye is the perfect amount of fat until you cook it. Lamb is disgusting. Yeah.
Oh.
Um,
I I can relate to that because lamb, for me, lamb has the grossest aftertaste. It tastes so gamey. I can't even swallow it when that hits.
Do you know that there's two kinds of lamb though?
Non-aged
Okay.
and not aged, right?
Well, no, there's actually like there's two kinds. Well, it depends on what they eat. I forget what it is because I don't eat enough lamb to know this. But I agreed
Yeah.
wholeheartedly with you. I thought that I hated
Yeah.
lamb for forever because I had
Okay.
lamb twice and it tasted like the worst gamey junk I ever seen. I was like, who eats this crap?
Right? Exactly.
And then I just found out it was like a bougie type of like all natural lamb. And it turns out if you eat like the Costco lamb, it didn't have that. So like, if you
Really?
did- yeah, it was way better, way better. And I was like,
Oh.
it doesn't have the gamey taste to it at all. It has like, it tastes like a filet mignon, only a little bit softer and tastes like beef. And I'm
Really?
like, oh, this is
Okay.
way better. Yeah. So
I mean,
I'm right
I'll
there
try
with
it.
both of you. Yeah. I like,
You can try it when you come here. We'll have Australian lamb. It's beautiful. I love it.
I will, and I can't wait to when I go to Australia. Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you, but there is two types of lamb. I remember looking at it going, why is this such a why was it so disgusting before? And this is awesome. And there's two
Yeah.
types of lamb and it's what they feed it. So it is
Okay.
totally different.
That is mind blowing. I will try it. So back to Benjamin's struggles. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I cook. Oh, there you go, Gayla. Hi, Gayla. I cook all my meat from frozen and it does not trigger my MCAS. Okay, so Gayla has MCAS herself. This is a very valuable tip. If you're not doing this, Benjamin, something for you to play around with to see if it helps. Even cooking meat that is not frozen and that has been sitting in a butcher shop or on the counter for days, weeks, months even will trigger MCAS, believe it or not. So like
Yeah.
we feel for you. You really do have to be so strict about certain things, but it will make a difference when you consistently do it and finally heal. And once you're healed, you're good to go. You can finally open up that variety. So I'm trying to think what else to help Ben. Colorado lamb chops at my local steakhouse is not gamey. Good to know. Thank you, W. Well, when he says that I wake up hungry but not excited for meals, that's also tough because he has to restrict his variety right now to heal. Yet he's not getting excited about his meals because he's so limited, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It is really tough. And I did lion, and when I did lion, I had to, and I don't know if you can do this or not, but I had to incorporate like that was when I started playing with adding some different meats in. Like I was getting different cuts of meat, like filet mignon. It's when I started smoking them, which you might not be able to do. Some people can handle it with MCAS. Some people can't handle it. I also had to start. I bought an air fryer, and I started playing around with cooking temperatures in the air fryer, basting it with some butter and stuff. I had to start doing things when I did 90 Days of Lion because it's really easy to get meat aversion on Lion diet. Made beef jerky. That was one of the things I did too, was make beef jerky in a dehydrator. But I don't know if you can do these things without causing that. It's kind of like aged meat, so it's really tough.
Yeah. Okay, Benjamin, I see this. I'll keep trying. I buy low histamine meat or same day from my butcher. Yeah, try out these little pointers and ideas that we shared and also from the people in the live stream. And then one more thing is just try eating your fat raw.
For sure.
That could be really healing. Yeah. Beef fat trimmings raw.
Did we miss this one?
Yes, we did. I don't think we got his follow-up. Okay, so Brian says, I'm new to kefir and I love it. By the way, guys, am I saying this word correct? Is it kefir or kefir?
Everybody I know calls it kefir, but I think it's actually wrong. I think it's kefir.
I say kefir, but
Okay. Or is it kefir or kefir? No, it's just like so confusing.
I don't know. If I'm around people here, I'll call it kefir. If I'm around like Kiefer Sutherland, if I'm around other people, I call it kefir. So
Okay. Well, definitely suits your accent more when you say kefir.
right. Exactly. It matches the hat. I get it. Stereotyping is wrong, but whatever.
I love it. So let me know. It blows my mind how quenching it is. That's a good thing to observe. Well, you see, I have been drinking Rockefear almost as like my water these days. It's just so good. It's so flavorful. But I do notice I reach for this less, like my sparkling water, or if it's just still water. I instead just opt for drinking that whole pint of Rockefear when I eat my meals. So yeah, there's probably some truth to how hydrating it is. That's awesome,
Wow.
Brian. Right? So cool.
For sure. Does anybody else in the chat get addicted to sparkling water? I think that's my like last addiction. That's the only thing I have to watch out for. If I'm not,
Well, that's not an addiction. It's just water.
I know, but man, I will drink 8 of those bottles to 15 of them a day if I let myself. It's crazy.
So is it an addiction if you need it to survive, Todd? Because I saw
Right.
you in Texas, you were dying.
That dude at that steakhouse, if he didn't bring me those,
I will
3
never
bottles, I was
forget.
gonna choke him. I was like, he was playing around behind me, opening them up all fancy. I'm like, give me a
Just give
bottle.
Bottle.
It's like 170 degrees in here. I've sweated out 2 gallons of water at the gun range. Bring me a bottle of water.
The
Yeah.
irritation on his face. Like, let me just give you guys the summary of the story. We sat down after KetoCon or Hack Your Health. Like the whole team was there, and we had some friends. It was like this big long table. Oh, Carrie was there, Homestead Howe, and Adam.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
sat down to have some delicious, juicy steaks, and the whole time Todd is melting. Todd is melting because it's so hot outside, and he politely orders like how many bottles of this?
I ordered
Literally
three 33
of
ounce bottles of South San
330.
Pellegrino. Yeah.
Yeah. And our server was just playing around, like fidgeting around for minutes upon minutes. And Todd was getting like he was dying. of
I was
heat.
about to stroke out. I was about to stroke out of the table of heat stroke. And this guy is farting around with a bottle, putting a fancy napkin around it like he was going to serve it like wine. And I'm about to
Yeah.
rip this thing out of his hand, and I just chug one.
He really did. And then so when he started chugging, I watched him. He chugged in 10 seconds. It was all gone
Yeah.
in 10 seconds. I was so impressed. You could be a competitive eater.
Something. Well, you just got to give me on the brink of a heat stroke, and I'll take him down for sure. I was ready to kill that guy. I'm like, we were just at the gun range, and they had no AC running in there. It was indoor in Austin, Texas, like 120 degrees inside. And I come from the Rocky Mountains where normal hot weather is like 70, and it was like
Yeah.
120 degrees in there. I was dying, and we were just baking for hours. And I couldn't get the water down fast enough that day. I could have drank 12 of those dang things. It was
Right.
crazy.
It was. Okay, so let's learn how to say this word. I see all of your suggestions here. Kefir.
Okay.
This doesn't really help. It's definitely kefir.
Kefir. Emphasis on the er.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah. Now there was this one.
Yeah.
Kefir. Well, this is
Fear.
a new one. So that's why I'm confused. Because it's either kefir or kefir or kefir.
Yeah, see this
Right?
this is what I said earlier. Kiefer Sutherland. Exactly.
Wait, but you're saying kefir, but that would be spelled out to say kefir.
Right.
Do you
but
hear the
yeah,
difference?
I do hear the difference, but the funny thing is I see that he's spelling it Kefir, but I call the
Yeah.
actor Kiefer Sutherland. That's why I'm laughing. I don't call him Kiefer Sutherland. Is what I
Yeah.
was saying.
Shoot. Okay, so maybe I'm reading it wrong. Okay, well, there we go. Benjamin says it's kefir.
That makes
We
more
could
Kefir.
ask Google. Google might tell us. You have to have that translation.
Yeah, we could. We
could.
could. Kefir. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Kefir. Okay. Interesting.
Keef for short.
Keef.
Anyways, thank you guys for helping. I think I'm gonna go with kefir. Kefir.
Yeah.
Kefir. Yeah.
That
Okay. Yeah, I saw that Sherry is watching on her TV. I can't find her message, but love you, Sherry. She had such a beautiful share in our NSV party earlier in the gang. And everyone who's watching who has been subscribed for a while, thank you so much. I really love you guys. I would not be here continuing to make carnivore content, pumping out the videos if it were not for your support. So I see you, I love you, and I thank you. And also, you should subscribe to Todd's channel and Lindy's channel because they are phenomenal, beautiful carnivores. They have so much to share as well.
Thanks so much. You know what we should do too is they don't know about Hack Your Health.
Oh, yeah. We should talk about that a little bit. So, Hack Your Health is, in my opinion, the biggest carnivore convention as of now, maybe until Todd starts his. But for now, it's the biggest carnivore convention. And they used to always be in Texas. In fact, we went there this year in Austin, Texas. Hence that funny story of sparkling water with Todd. And for next year, it's going to be moved to Tampa, Florida. So anyone who lives around Tampa, Florida, or who might want to travel to Tampa, Florida, come hang out with us because all of us, or hopefully Lindy will be there too. Todd and I will definitely be there. And we're going to be speaking about how to thrive as a carnivore in a non-carnivore world, a very fascinating topic with Dr. Phil, with Raymond, and a bunch of other SPG carnivores. And it's going to be so much fun. So if you guys want to join us, connect with all of the carnivores that show up, all of your favorite carnivores will be there, like Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Anthony Chafee. Who else are you looking forward to meeting, Todd?
Man, well, you guys again, getting to hang out with you guys again, and then
Always.
yeah, and then definitely, I bet Carrie Mann will be there. That'll be fun to see Carrie Mann, and then I'm hoping, I'm hoping carnivore's getting so widespread. I think it'd be fun if you've been watching the news and stuff. Eddie Hall is doing carnivore right now, the world's strongest man.
Right.
And I'd love to see like Eddie Hall or somebody show up to one of these because carnivore is getting pretty mainstream. I mean, Anthony Chafee was just with Jason Statham a while back too, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Jason
yes.
Statham, the
Saw that.
actor's doing carnivore. So
And
it'd be
Bear
fun.
Grylls. Bear Grylls would be awesome.
Bear Grylls is doing carnivore.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it'd be really fun to start seeing some of these people because it is going pretty mainstream, which is going to be really good for, for the community to help get the word out there. So I'm hoping to see some names
It
like
is.
that, standing up for it.
Do you guys know who Chris Pratt is, the actor?
Oh yeah, love Chris Pratt.
Okay. So there were carnivores on Instagram saying, did you guys see his Instagram story on that day? He literally announced that he's carnivore. So
That's
I guess he's carnivore too.
That's awesome.
Oh,
He's super good dude. He's in Guardian of the Galaxies and all that. That's
I'll
awesome.
look him up. Don't know.
Oh, you don't know him? You should
If I
just
saw
watch
his
Guardians
face,
of
I
the
might. I don't know names. Yeah.
Right.
If I
You'll
might
probably
recognize him. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
But is the carnivore code still good for $100 off?
It sure is. Yeah, so I put it in the chat for everyone watching the playback as well. I hope the links are clickable in playback form. Are they?
They're
Live chat
not.
replay?
They're not, unfortunately, but they will be. But it's we put it. Did we put it in the description, or we can put it in the description of the playback?
We can always edit after the live stream ends and just pop it in there. Then I'll put a note. I'll make sure to do that.
Okay.
And then we did link that. Okay, cool. What else? I mean, we can go back to answering questions, but I don't really feel like it.
Right.
Like,
No.
I really, really want to keep helping you guys, but we're going to do this every single week. So I kind of want to unwind, if that's okay
For
with
sure.
everyone.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, it is $199 for 3 days. And I think if you do get that early bird price Magic Moon, it is going to be the cheapest it will ever be. So if you guys are sure about going there, get the tickets now because the prices go up a lot by every single month. So I don't want you guys to regret it and just get that early bird price.
Do you anticipate that we'll be doing an SBG meetup again?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's another reason to combo it if you want to meet the SBG gang too, because in Texas we had a what was that place called? Was that Fogo that we went to?
Fogo de
Yeah,
Chao.
we decided on Fogo de Chao, but we can definitely try a different Brazilian steakhouse, maybe. Like I think there's Texas de Brazil. I don't know if they have it in Florida, but
Gotcha.
yeah, I'll definitely do a in-person meetup, like a lunch or a dinner, whatever is convenient, and then we can all continue to hang out more in Tampa, Florida. Yeah,
That's awesome.
awesome. Well, Todd and Lindy, anything else you guys wanted to chat about or announce, share?
Well, well, I would like people that so me and Chad are doing a call on SBG on Saturdays called Iron Sharpens Iron, and we're doing a live stream called Iron Sharpens Iron 2 on our YouTube channels to help help men with mental health issues, and how, because me and Chad both cleared up some mental health issues with carnivore, and we noticed I was surprised, that I did carnivore for weight, and the mental health I didn't have any idea that had anything to do with diet, and it cleared up. It was the best side effect of carnivore was clearing up depression, anxiety. Chad cleared up PTSD with carnivore. And so we do a live stream to help reach people, but we're trying to bring people into SBG so that we can have a call. And the reason why I'm doing that is I've been doing YouTube now for going on 14 months, I guess, and people have been reaching out to me and we've been talking. But the problem is when I talk to people on Instagram and stuff one-on-one, they always fall off carnivore because they don't have a community. So I can only talk to them for like an hour a week one-on-one, and then they have to go deal with the rest of the world that tells them that everything I told them was wrong.
Right.
And they're, going to have high cholesterol and have a heart attack. So we decided to move this into SBG because then you have a community there where they can help you with the carb addiction and the cravings, and you can go meet the rest of the team, and you have a whole support network there to actually get you to the point where you can get relief from mental health issues. So that's what we're trying to bring awareness and make it more of a men's chat. So anyhow, we're trying to represent the dudes. So
We are. No, yes, we are, because with the gentlemen in the carnivore community, they're not going to be the first one to talk about their struggles or the mental health issues or what they need help on. They're not going to be the first one to reach out for the help. I do see it's mostly women who, boldly reach out for help and get the help that they need. So Todd is doing such a great thing, leading this movement to share with men that, hey, it is okay to talk about it. In fact, you're probably going to heal way faster when you do.
Well, for sure. And I mean, it's so obvious to me now. It was shocking to me. One, it was shocking. So I assumed that I had suicidal depression, anxiety, because I was sick and my diet was poor. Not that it was because of the diet, but because of the poor health from my diet, I thought was why I was depressed and full of anxiety and things. But my depression, anxiety went away before my body healed, even because it was hormone imbalance from not having, from eating a low fat diet and from having insulin resistance and metabolic disease and all those things. But what was crazy is, I started doing this because I was 700 pounds. I had to lose weight. I thought that my outreach was going to be for people that were my size. And, I thought, oh, people are going to be impressed that this thing freed me and I lost 300 pounds. Well, kind of what most of the men are calling me, about 80% of the people that talk to me, it isn't about the weight loss. It's about the mental health. They're like, how'd you fix depression? How'd you fix anxiety? So that's when I realized, oh, this is a way bigger deal, which makes sense, right? Guys are okay being a little bit chunky. They don't care, but they're holding on to this, anxiety, PTSD, depression that's plaguing them, and they don't know how to get away from it. And they really don't even know how to ask for help, because if you're a guy, you can't look weak. You don't want to look weak. You don't want to, tip your hand. So you just kind of suffer in silence,
That's right. Yeah, I love everything you're doing, Todd. Lindy, did you want to share anything or plug anything?
I do have a live stream tomorrow with Midlife Carnivore Lynn, and we're doing a fitness challenge. We've been doing that since we returned from Texas. So every month we do something new, and we're doing just sort of isometric exercises, a bit of walking, things that, you know, just the everyday person, not the gym junkie, because that's not where I'm at the moment and won't be for a long time. But we just sort of concentrate on doing gentle movement and, you know, just keeping consistent with our movement and doing it in a safe manner. So we just got a live stream as a bit of an update tomorrow, and we're starting our next month exercises as well. So yeah, tune in if you want to hear what we have planned for October.
What a wonderful movement you're leading to, Lindy. So I have linked both Todd and Lindy's socials, including their YouTube channels, down below in the description box. Okay, so if you're watching the playback as well, just click that open, go ahead and subscribe to their channels. Awesome. So I do see everyone's heading to bed as well. We should also unwind and get a good night's sleep. Thank you, Annabella, for joining us. I see our friend Carnivore Odyssey is here. Hi,
That's
Carnivore
awesome.
Odyssey. She
Hi,
says, hey, Bella,
Marvin.
Todd, and Lindy, love you. Thank you so much. Had a great time watching the stream. Very happy you guys enjoyed it. Okay.
So happy.
Then, yeah, we're so happy. I guess we'll see you all next week. Todd and I will figure out the new time just to test the waters a bit. We're still in the new phase, and I do like experimenting to see what works for everybody. So it will be posted, I would say, like in the next 2-3 days,
For sure.
right?
Yep, for sure.
So you guys can go ahead and double check and RSVP, same spot.
Perfect.
Awesome. Yay. Love you guys. We're going to
Love you.
end the live stream now. Thank you so much. Thank you for all
Bye.
the support. Have a beautiful night. Have a great weekend.
We'll see you guys.
Night.
Night.